people on the Keeler Show today.
It's time to read the news and weather. Time to figure out what to say. It's time to turn the channel of the Keeler Show today. Why do we always listen?
Keeler's always in the know.
It makes me want to call him
and tell him where to go.
And now let's get things started. Andrew, let's get things started.
It's time to get things started.
On the most sensational, inspirational, celebrational, Keelerational. This is what we call the Keeler Show.
WIBX.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
It is 6:17. Good morning. First news, Keeler in the morning. Keeler on vacation. WIBX and 92.3 FM. That's WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM. What's that over there?
Boonville Fair pamphlet.
Oh, can I see that?
Sure.
That's very colorful.
Which kicks off on next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday.
And we'll be talking about that today.
Yes, we'll have, we call him Farmer Ben. It's Ben Simons will be joining us in studio.
Yeah, but we got Mr. Boonville Fair coming in, Carl Trainer.
Right. Yeah, usually, well, this has happened the last couple of years when we've had Ben in as a guest co-host for if Bill's away on vacation. Carl will come in as well and kind of highlight all things Boonville Oneida County Fair. So
I'm actually looking forward to the Boonville Oneida County Fair next week. I'm going to go up a couple times, especially on Wednesday. They got East Coast Wrestling coming up. And then Saturday night, I'm really, really looking forward on August 1st is John Morgan, the concert. The big Bandstand show. I'm getting into John Morgan. I got his album. He's got a hit climbing up the charts. I'm Just a Kid Myself. So if you want to get your tickets, let's go see an up-and-comer country music star. Check out John Morgan.
All right, very cool. We'll talk to Ben all the details about that. I see Saturday at the Grandstand, John Morgan. That's a 7:30 show.
Yep.
And then East Coast Wrestling. So for fans of wrestling, Smitty, is East Coast Wrestling, that's an indie?
Yeah, I believe it's their first time up here at the Boonville Fair. I've never seen East Coast Wrestling. You know, I follow these independent wrestlings like 2CW, Immortal Championship Wrestling. Speaking of Immortal Championship Wrestling, I'll be like Joe Road. They're doing a show at the Nexus Center on Saturday night. They're doing a wrestling show.
At Nexus?
Yes.
No kidding.
Yes.
And what is it? Immoral?
Immortal.
Oh, Immortal Championship Wrestling. Gotcha. So, okay. And this one that'll be at the Boonville Fair is called East Coast Wrestling. ECW.
It's not the Extreme Championship Wrestling, the one that you know would... did you ever see Extreme Championship Wrestling?
When I was younger...
ECW. Used to be on MSG.
Yeah, so
yes.
It was when wrestling was more traditionally what I think the audience would remember wrestling as. ECW emerged. Wasn't it called East Coast Wrestling originally? And
Yes,
then
it was.
changed to Extreme?
Yep.
It was called East Coast Wrestling. But again, as an indie, they needed to make money. And so you have to do something different and out of the box to get people's attention because it was very difficult to compete with, at that time, what was WWF or WWE, controlled by Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
And WCW.
Which was controlled by the late Ted Turner.
Right. So what they would do was, the way that they decided to stand out
the
was
Monday Night Wars.
They went extreme.
Yep.
So guys were getting hit with baseball bats. They were having matches with barbed wire. They would stack tables and
light them on fire
and throw guys through them.
Yep.
what's scaffolding? They would put
Right.
scaffolding up and throw guys off, I don't know, 40 feet of scaffolding. It was insane. One
Right.
guy almost died.
Right. Classic match, the Road Warriors against the Midnight Express is a famous scaffolding match back in WCW early days.
So they were really an extreme version of what was, traditional wrestling, and that was how that came to be. So it was, I wonder, what was the guy who used to operate that, ECW?
Paul Heyman.
Paul Heyman.
He's still involved with WWE right now.
But he had to sell the rights, right, to East Coast
I
Wrestling?
don't know about that.
Because that was the name of it.
Well, yeah, but then once WWE bought ECW out, he bought Heyman out. So I think maybe WWE still owns it, now, which is now TKO.
Okay. Interesting. So there'll be a professional wrestling show up there this year. They got the Pig and Petting Zoo. We'll get more into the Boonville Oneida County Fair, but they have a very nice flyer celebrating America's 250th, I should say. So Farmer Ben will join us. If you have questions about meat, dairy, anything farm-related, we'll throw it at Ben.
He does want to get in on the Senator Schumer press conference on Monday when he was at Tops in Auburn talking about that
Yeah,
new
I'm
bill.
curious to see what he thinks about that. Do you know?
No, he just wanted to touch base. He touched base with me yesterday, and I did bring it up, and he says, "Oh, I want to talk to Jeff about it." So.
Something tells me he's not going to be in agreement because what the article that I read.
Here it is, right here, if you want it. Look
Thank
at
you.
it.
Here's the article from Schumer. Chuck Schumer wants to lower the price of items in your cart. Schumer announced he's trying to slash meat prices with a new bill focusing on the businesses themselves.
And you touched base with that with Blake Gendabine yesterday.
Yeah. He said he wasn't familiar with the bill and didn't really have much of a comment on it. 4 companies control 85% of the beef, 67% of the pork, and 60% of the chicken, Schumer said during a press conference at the Tops Friendly Markets in Auburn on Monday. JBS, Tyson Gill, Cargill, and National Beef are the 4 companies Schumer referred to. Schumer said he wants to create more competition by breaking up what he called monopolies in the meat industry. And I don't know. We'll get Ben's take on it. Maybe he does agree because the statistics here are bigger than I thought. I know that there's only a handful of companies that control 80-90% of our food, especially processed food. But I didn't know it was so. 4 companies control 85% of the beef. That does kind of surprise me because of the number of farms that there are. The bill would also put limitations on how many different kinds of meat companies can sell to ensure that prices don't become out of control. Yeah, see, I don't know if controlling the types of meat they sell, I don't know that helps. I don't know. We'll get Farmer Ben's perspective coming in. If you have a question or comment on farm, ag, etc., we'd be happy to throw it at Farmer Ben. I'm sure he's got an opinion on it. Whether or not he's an expert on that particular department, I guess we'll have to see, but I'm sure he has some kind of knowledge about it.
Well, when it comes to farming, we always ask Ben for his opinion. He always comes up with the most important information.
A couple of stories.
Was it raining when you came in?
It was raining.
Yes,
Why do you
much
ask?
needed rain. These grounds are hard.
You're getting older, huh?
Thank you.
I'm teasing, buddy. The reason I say that is I just saw something the other day, and it was like, you're getting older when it starts raining out. And you go, well, we needed it.
I'll tell you something. I hurt from Monday. I think I tweaked my knee or something.
Oh, on the golf course?
Yeah.
Oh,
I woke up Tuesday. I woke up Monday afternoon from a little nap. Boy, and I had a pain in my knee. I don't know if I tweaked it or something when I turned or did something wrong, but it still hurts.
I kind of forgot about this. I was going to mention it on the show yesterday. We played in the Boilermaker golf tournament on Monday after the show, and I was going to have a new nickname for you. We were going to start calling you Backdoor Smitty. So Davey and I were in the golf tournament along with the morning show.
Polly and Tad at Big Frog.
from down the hall, right? So Valley View is difficult as it typically is. I think we shot 2 or 3 under. At least that was the last I was told. I wasn't paying attention. I knew we weren't really in the running to win the tournament. 2 or 3 under for us, I thought was okay. We played okay. I had a lot of bad shots. I know my back has been bothering me. I can't drive like I used to. I really can't. I mean, I can put it out there, but it's in the next fairway.
You smoked a couple of them, though.
I love putting it in the adjacent fairway. I don't know. But so Smitty made 3 putts, 2 for birdie. Obviously, it's a 4-person scramble, 4-person best ball. Smitty made 3 putts, 2 for birdie, 1 for par, and 2 of them, the pin locations are difficult. They the greens there, it's a Robert Trent Jones course, so the greens have, hills and waves in them. And it's a well-maintained course. The greens were nice, although you mentioned the lack of rain that we've had. There were a lot of brown spots, and I don't know, how much they can do to control that. I'm sure they're doing their best to keep it dry, but a lot of people have brown lawns right now, and Valley View does have some brown spots for sure. So they had difficult pin locations, and Smitty made 2 putts for birdie that went past the hole just barely, but kind of caught a curve or the hill that the pin was adjacent to and kind of rolled back in. One was from literally behind, and the other was it kind of snuck in on the side. So I don't know that we played well, but you putted very well on Monday.
Thank you.
You were happy about that. You actually had some nice drives as well. You had 3 or 4 holes in a row where, So, and the other thing to note is, maybe I shouldn't get too into this. One of the members, obviously, is a woman, so she gets and Polly's a very good golfer, so she gets to tee off course from the women's tees, and she puts it out there. She's a very good golfer, and then Tad gets to tee off from the senior tees, and he hits the ball pretty well. So I don't think maybe 1 hole, 2 holes they played your drive or my drive, because they hit it very well off the tee box. So yeah, we played okay. Could have played better, but
it was fun.
Smitty was draining some birdie putts. We were very happy about that.
It was fun.
A couple of stories I saw in the news. I was going to start calling you Backdoor Smitty, but to be honest with you, I knew Lance and Lee was going to take that in the wrong direction.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
So we're not going to call you that. Although now he might call you that. I guess we'll have to wait and see. A couple of stories that caught my couple of news stories that caught my attention here this morning. A Walmart employee in Utica is accused of stealing $30,000 from cash registers. The young man is 21, Jacques Guy of Yorkville, charged with grand larceny in the 3rd degree. Police were called to the North Utica Walmart Monday for the alleged theft. Employees told police they witnessed the Yorkville man taking bundles of cash from registers at the end of the shift. Now, when I originally heard about this, I just assumed a little bit here, a little bit there, and it all adds up in the end. But this line here about employees saw him taking bundles of cash from the registers at the end of the shift, it sounds like he took a significant part of the alleged theft came in one night.
It was hundreds and fifties, they said.
How would you think you wouldn't get caught doing that?
Yeah, he got caught.
I don't encourage anybody to steal anything, but if it's, I typically, when you hear about these stories, someone sold tens of thousands of dollars, it's usually, 500 here, maybe 1,000 there. It's not all in one swoop. I don't know how he thought allegedly, how it's thought that the company wouldn't realize that. And then there's another story here that's troubling out of Syracuse. A Manlius couple accused of setting their house on fire with their kids inside. Dale and Aubrey O'Neill have been charged with 4 felony counts of arson and conspiracy, along with misdemeanor counts of endangering the welfare of a child and reckless endangerment. How those are misdemeanor charges. I guess, endangering the welfare of a child might only be a misdemeanor charge. Firefighters were called to the family's burning home on Chrisfield Circle, July 18th. 5 children were inside the home and managed to get out unharmed. The fire caused minor damage to the house. Investigators have not said the reason that the O'Neills allegedly set their house on fire with their children inside. That's insane. And then one story in sports, Giants running back Cam Scadaboo continues to get poked over his recently botched backflip attempt. Head coach John Harbaugh joked in an appearance on Believe in Giants, the podcast, that if Scadaboo's going to attempt a backflip, then he has to stick it. Harbaugh confirmed the 24-year-old is healthy and will be ready for training camp next week. How about you tell him to stop doing backflips unless it's after he scored a touchdown? He was doing, speaking of, we talked wrestling this morning. Speaking of that, he was on a wrestling show after he broke his leg, and now he's doing backflips, and it kind of was ugly. People thought he might have re-injured it. Are you here to play football or not? You want to be a celebrity? Anyway, we go down to Fox's Tanya J. Powers. The Arizona primary follow-up. How did the Trump-backed candidates do? Joining us now is Tanya J. Powers. Good morning, Tanya.
Hey, good morning.
So how did Trump do in Arizona? I feel like his influence is waning, for sure.
Well, the two candidates that I was really paying attention to as far as the Trump endorsement goes, both one of them, decisively, Congressman Andy Biggs, who is a fierce ally of President Trump, the former head of the House Freedom Caucus. He won the Republican nomination for Arizona governor last night. I think something like 72% of the vote. He overwhelmingly defeated his fellow Congressman David Schweikert in that primary. That means Biggs will face Governor Katie Hobbs, who is a Democrat, in the general election. That could be an extremely close race in November. Because if you'll recall, 4 years ago, Hobbs just barely beat Republican Carrie Lake by less than a percentage point.
Right.
So that was a tough race then. It's going to be really interesting to see how this goes this time in the general election. The first district, I mentioned David Schweikert, who was, running for governor in that primary. Because he was running in the gubernatorial primary, there were several Republicans trying to replace him in the first district, which is a pretty competitive seat. The candidates include the Trump-backed former NFL kicker Jay Feely. He won. So he won his primary. So that's, setting up the battle for the first district there. Like I said, a very competitive seat. In the Secretary of State's GOP primary, State Representative Alexander Culloden won the Republican nomination there and will challenge the Democratic Secretary of State Adrian Fontes. In the Attorney General GOP primary, you had State Senate President Warren Peterson, who won the Republican nomination for Attorney General there and will face the Democratic incumbent Attorney General Chris Mays. So that one also was a very tight race as well. In case you weren't keeping up 4 years ago with the Arizona Attorney General's race,
I was not.
Chris Mays won that by 280 votes out of more than 2.5 million.
Holy cow!
So Arizona could have some. I mean, they've had in the last 4 years they've had some really squeakers of races. So I don't know if this is going to be a repeat of that. A lot has changed in the last 4 years, so it remains to be seen. But these are some races that we'll be watching for sure.
So how did the Trump-backed candidates do? If you could put it 2-0, 3-0, 2-1, what was the tally?
I knew we were going to get to a sports metaphor at some point here.
Of course.
I don't have the full tally of all of them, but I can tell you of the big races, the two Trump-backed candidates won. I don't have anything written down for the 6th district, which I was also keeping an eye on, so I've got to go back and look up who won in the 6th district race. That one was going to be, it was not exactly a competitive primary, but it was one of those big things for, a lot of people in that area who rely on SNAP, and I mentioned that was one of the, places that Arizona's had extremely deep cuts to SNAP, and it was kind of being, some of these districts are being looked at as, okay, is this a bellwether for what's going to happen in a larger sense, in the general. So,
and then to the race, I know you said it was 4 years ago. How many votes were cast, and it came down to 280?
This was in the Attorney General's GOP, the Attorney General's race. Chris Mays is the Democrat. He won 4 years ago in the Attorney General race by 280 votes out of more than 2.5 million. And as I mentioned, you've got the race that was for governor, where Hobbs barely beat Kari Lake by less than a percentage point. So that, the Republicans have since then expanded their advantage in Arizona. They have grown their GOP registration by 6%. Apparently Democratic registration fell by 4%. But that's not necessarily the full picture, only because if you'll recall 2 years ago, one of the reasons that President Trump was, handed a victory was because of all those independent and swing voters. Are they going to show up? Which side are they going to go with? That could also be a factor there in the general. So it'll remain to be seen if any of them, it's a primary, so people may not feel the need to turn out as much as they would in a presidential election.
All right. That's wild. That is a case in point on Every Vote Counts. 2.5 million votes cast, and it came down to 280. That is incredible.
And I misspoke a second ago. I meant, instead of primary, I meant midterm. We just had the primary. So, yes. Midterm is the word I was looking for. It's early, and I've only had half a cup of coffee. My apologies.
No, that's okay, Tanya. It's funny because I caught that, but I thought to myself, some states do it differently. And I'm like, they're just a little ahead of schedule out there in Arizona. Okay. Fox's Tanya J. Powers, thank you so much. Still warming up in the bullpen this morning. It's only her first cup of coffee. Thank you, Tanya.
Nice. I'm done.
Have a good day. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Thanks. Okay.
That is Fox's Tanya J. Powers joining us. It is 6:38. We'll hit a news update here, Uncle Smitty, and we are dealing with some rain outside this morning. Take it away. Play my song. Some rain and 66 degrees. It is 6:38. This news update is brought to you by Clinton Tractor, the leader in service. Visit clintontractor.net. Tropical storm Bertha is moving toward Louisiana. The storm's currently about 50 miles east-northeast of the mouth of the Mississippi River and aimed at Louisiana's bayou country with sustained winds of over 50 miles an hour. Bertha is expected to dump 1 to 4 inches of rain along the coast from northern Florida to southern Louisiana. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth facing pointed questions in the Senate on Tuesday about the Iran war timeline and Tehran's military capabilities. Several Democratic senators pressed his past statements that Iran's missile program was functionally destroyed after the regime just attacked a U.S. military base in Jordan, killing 2 soldiers, and continues to strike cargo ships in the Strait of Hormuz. The soldier declared missing after an Iranian attack on a base in Jordan is believed to be dead. The Pentagon has identified that the soldier is 28-year-old Angel Rampersad. 2 other service members were killed in the attack on Friday. A Republican senator says he'll block President Trump's ambassador nominations unless the White House commits to sending AIDS relief to Africa. John Cornyn of Texas telling Politico on Tuesday that he won't vote to advance Trump's nominees for ambassadors to Jamaica or Slovakia unless he receives firm reassurance from the administration that they will release funds set aside for an HIV and AIDS program credited with saving millions of lives in poor countries. About 5,000 people are under evacuation orders in the path of a fast-spreading wildfire in the California Bay Area. CAL FIRE says the blaze called the Little Fire broke out Tuesday afternoon in the dry hillsides about 30 miles south of San Francisco and quickly charred about 1,000 acres near the town of Pleasanton. And Elon Musk says he's going to make an AI version of the Odyssey that is historically accurate. The tech billionaire has been a vocal critic of the new adaptation by director Christopher Nolan because of its diverse casting. On X Tuesday, Musk declared before this year ends, his chatbot Grok Imagine will make a full-length movie of the Odyssey that is historically accurate and true to the art of Homer. The ancient epic poem is a fictional tale involving Greek gods and mythical creatures. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM News Time 641. Here's your Weather Center forecast.
Cloudy, breezy, and cooler today with an occasional shower. The high should eventually hit 71 as winds gust in from the west at times. Then some breaks in the clouds tonight with a low of 51. A little bit of fog early tomorrow, otherwise sunny with a high of 77. And a sunny and warmer afternoon on Friday as the high reaches the low 80s. I'm Jeff Marr at the Weather Channel on WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Right now, some rain, 66 degrees at 6:40.
Hurt in a car? Call William Attar. 315-444-4444.
There's never been a better time to buy the commercial mower that has your back. Ferris. For a limited time, your Ferris dealer, Clinton Tractor, has the best financing offers of the year. Choose the offer that works best for you, 36 or 60 months. There are even options to skip payments when work is slow. It's never been easier to buy a Ferris. So visit Clinton Tractor today on Meadow Street in Clinton. Ferris. Experience suspension. All loans subject to credit approval.
We are the leader in service, Clinton Tractor.
This is Dan from Acme Pool and Spa on Commercial Drive in New Hartford, across from Texas Roadhouse. Get years of summer fun for you and your family with a new above-ground pool starting at just $89.99 installed. You can take advantage of our 0% in-house financing. We can have your new pool installed in about 10 days. Don't let the summer pass you by. If an in-ground pool is your dream, the experts at Acme will guide you through the process. There's nothing better than enjoying summer in your backyard with an in-ground pool. Don't miss out on our midsummer sale with above-ground pools starting at $89.99 installed within about 10 days with our in-house 0% financing. Or let the experts at Acme guide you through selecting a custom in-ground pool, choosing from steel or fiberglass options. That's Acme Pool and Spa on Commercial Drive in New Hartford and our midsummer pool sale going on now. We do the work, you just enjoy.
The world's biggest soccer tournament has arrived, and you can trade the entire tournament on Kalshi. You can trade every match from the opening stage all the way to the final. France is currently trading at over 16% to win it all, meaning a $100 trade pays out $590 if they win soccer's biggest prize. On Kalshi, you're trading against other people in a live market. No house, no odds makers. For a limited time, download the Kalshi app and use code TURF to get $10 when you trade $10. KALSHI. 18 plus only. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply. Event contract trading involves risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Prices, values, and available markets may differ from those mentioned. For more information, see kalshi.com/regulatory.
Here's a tale of Becky. Didn't know what to do with new meds prescribed and no real cost clue.
She squinted at prices, that can't be right. Then tapped GoodRx and saw the light.
She could get a deal. Book telehealth if she feels.
Learn about those meds without any stress. That one little app does all the rest. Even my horse downloaded it. Dang, save time and money on prescriptions.
Check GoodRx. GoodRx is not insurance.
At River Hills Properties, they call it white glove treatment. Service that's not normally provided to customers looking to buy or sell a home here in upstate New York. This is Bill Keeler. My wife and I had River Hills sell our home, and it sold in under a week, but it was more than that. It was all of the things they did to relieve the stress, to serve as a team member for us and basically get the job done and make it easier for a buyer to come in and understand. That's where the book comes in. It's like a manual for the home. They create all of that. No lockbox. Your listing agent, and for us it was Robin Monjo, your listing agent there every time the house is shown. That's River Hills Properties. And now they have a full-service office in Sarasota, Florida. Think Snowbird. Think River Hills Properties, located in Barneville, Little Falls, in Newport and Rome, and now in Sarasota, Florida. 315-896-1009. Nobody sells homes like River Hills Properties.
Celebrating 100 years.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
right, we are back. First News, Keeler in the morning on WIBX. We talked yesterday, and Farmer Ben is in studio. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Jeff and Davey. How are you?
I find this this is interesting. This is the Constantino website, and we had Blake Gendabine on yesterday.
Yep.
Running in New York's 21st Congressional District. Smitty, I'm going to plug this in, so I need you to make sure my audio is playing here. I got to give this young man some credit. So we talked to Blake Gendabine about the comments that he made. This was an interview in the Library of Congress, and he said some things that were maybe critical of whether you want to say American workers, domestic workers. We asked him about them. He answered them. You know, to be honest, I don't think this is a huge deal, but I wish I was aware of this yesterday because I actually think this is a bigger deal. But I don't know that Gendabine can speak to it. Obviously, when these folks are running for federal office, they have handlers, and their handlers have handlers, and it gets to be a little bit ridiculous. They're very protective of the candidates. I understand why. Each party invests a lot of money in these individuals, whether Democrats or Republicans. It's major, major big business. We all know this. I don't like it. I don't think it's a good thing for us, the people they're supposed to represent, but it is what it is. So anyway, who is the young man from KTV? Like, I can't think of his name right now.
Luke Radel?
Luke, yes. Luke did a very nice job with this. So this was Luke from KTV asking Gendabine, this isn't dated on here. He's asking him when he had a chance to speak with him, and you can see the News Channel 2 logo in the background. It looks like he's in a conference room, and Blake Gendabine is kind of on his laptop. This is almost like just a digital interview, like on a laptop.
I'm having a one-on-one meeting with Blake Gendabine on Saturday.
Well, you said that.
Yeah.
So, listen to this. I'll let this play out. This is Luke Radel talking to Blake Gendabine. He's asking him questions about the that interview that we had talked to Blake Gendabine about yesterday, and an advisor. What was he being called here? Managed by his handlers, letting out-of-state consultants hijack live interviews. So I'm going to let this play, and we'll get some thoughts on this as well.
Yeah, I guess the concern is when you say bad apple and that you wouldn't make a general statement, the quote about it was, it's hard to find a person who doesn't have an alcohol problem or a domestic abuse issue. That does sound like a general statement. That doesn't sound.
So among the comments from that interview that Blake Gendabine says is something like 15 years old, he says having domestic abuse problems, alcohol problems, custody battles, child support battles, they show up late, they drank too much. He's talking about domestic workers there, apparently. And then he goes on to say 3 Hispanic employees, they would need to be replaced by probably 6 local people. And whether that's true or not, I don't know. Everyone is like offended by that, but is it true? You know, if the shoe fits, wear it.
Right, it's a hot.
Ben, I don't want to get you in trouble, right? But if you had 3 migrant workers versus 6 early 20-year-olds who play video games all day, who's getting more work done?
There's no question the Spanish. There's no the migrant workers.
Thank you for being honest about that.
I'm going to get in trouble, but there's no question. And the reason
and that's not to say that there's not American workers who don't hustle, but on the average, we've kind of become a lazy society where we're on tablets all the time.
Right.
Our kids are playing video games, not running around outside in parks.
Or texting their friends and things of that nature.
That's a bit of a broad brush there. I understand. But let's be honest about this.
We are. And it's a fine example. I'm going to give you a fine example that's fresh on my mind, okay? So we just got in late last night from Washington, D.C.
I'm sorry. One real quick. We'll come back to this because I don't want to derail here.
It's going to be part of it.
Give Luke a little tip of the cap here. I want to continue to play this.
Yep.
He says one thing around here local kids don't have. They don't have practical independence and an ability to think. And again, these were quotes from that interview with Blake Gendabine, which came, as he says, 15 years ago. But here's more of Luke Radel with Gendabine.
Sound like you're just talking about bad apples. That sounds like you're talking about the community when you say it's hard to find someone who is not a good apple, if you will.
Hey, right. Sorry, I'm just gonna jump in here before starting this.
Now, this is one of these, quote, handlers who jumps in before Jen DeBean gets to answer and kind of tells Luke Radel, look, this wasn't on the question sheet. And I'm not saying they provided a question sheet, and he lays it out pretty bluntly here, but he kind of says we were going to generally talk about the campaign, not specific questions about this.
We talked about talking broadly about the campaign. If you do want to dive into a deeper piece on this news, which was reported 6 months ago now, almost 7 months ago now, we're happy to make time to have that longer conversation, but this was not what we talked about at the top. So happy
Jen DeBean unable to answer the question, or Jen DeBean unable to answer the question, or
yeah, Blake is happy to answer the question, but I just want to flag this was not what we talked about at the top.
Yeah,
and
so nothing is ever off limits in an interview, period, full stop. And also I said we would talk about the campaign generally, and this is, again, coming from the Stefanik Advisors' response to this ad. Part of their statement is referring to these comments, and so I wanted to give your candidate an opportunity to respond to them for our audience. So I didn't realize there was a taboo around asking questions.
There's no taboo. I'm just flagging this was 7 months ago. Happy to dive into it, but
I don't know why you wouldn't allow your candidate to flag that for himself. Why would that be a problem?
It's Aziz and Luke. It's okay. I'm totally happy. So
I get the impression. Let me stop this. Blake Jen DeBean can speak for himself, but hats off to Luke for handling that the way that he did. He kind of put the spotlight on the handler, advisor, whatever the person was, because they want full control of these interviews in some cases, and you cannot give it to them, not as an independent media person or a journalist. So I thought Luke handled that very well. I'm sorry, Ben, you were giving an example when we talked about maybe migrant workers, how motivated they are, how hard they work on an average day versus maybe some of the local domestic workforce.
Yeah. So first, I got a question. So during that interview, did Blake Jen DeBean make the reference that the Spanish are more efficient than the local?
I have not heard the whole interview.
Okay.
But this was an interview he did this was in the Library of Congress, and apparently it was more than a decade ago, 12, 15 years ago. And he made some comments that were critical of the local workforce where he is, where his farm is, essentially saying that he's got the local guys either have domestic abuse issues, alcohol problems, custody battles, they show up late, and they drank too much.
Yep.
He says, as far as I know, these guys are legal. I'm not obligated to check. I'm not obligated to verify. So 3 Hispanic employees, they would need to be replaced by probably 6 local people. Did that answer your question?
Yep, that answered the question. So I understand. I totally understand where Blake Jen DeBean came from when he made that statement years ago. It's probably not a favorable question or answer.
Sure.
To us Americans. Let's be simple about this. The American workforce. But at the end of the day, he is a farmer.
Yeah.
And he's dealing with labor. And there's no question that I know it's a hot subject. I could get in trouble, but I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah.
There's no question that the migrant labor force is here to work. They're not distracted by the cell phones. They're not distracted by their friend next door. Where are you going partying tonight? Or where are you going to go drinking? Or what's going on in your family? They're here to work. They're here to perform. And they realize that the harder they work, the more pay they get, the more they're appreciated. I know that's a hot subject. It really is. But at the end of the day, when Blake Jen DeBean made them statements a decade ago, before he was probably running for the serious office that he's running for now.
Sure.
Even today, you talk to every farmer out there. It doesn't matter whether it's a crop farmer growing lettuce, spinach, your greeneries that are in season now, or the milking guys, or the pig farmers, or the chicken farmers. They will tell you that they would much prefer the migrant labor force because they're productive, they get it done. You following me?
I'm not trying to surprise me. I don't know. I don't run a farm.
It is
obviously,
true.
but that's not a shock to me.
So where I started to go earlier,
and I'm not criticizing others. I'll tell you what. If I was working on the farm, I think I'm a big guy, I'm a strong guy, and I work hard.
Yep.
But I wouldn't. Are you trying to turn that down?
Nope. I'm good. Go ahead.
Okay. So, but I do. I would get distracted. I'd probably have some kind of a podcast or something playing in the background, so that might distract me a little bit. I'm 43 now. Standing in the farm, standing on a farm or in a field, working all day under the hot sun. I think there would be many others who would outperform me, and it is what it is. Sorry,
I'm going to give you.
If my family, if it depended on, and I was sending money back, and that was really my only form of income.
That's a lifeline.
Yeah, I would probably be hustling more than I would today, for sure.
Now, so people in America don't realize, the normal person doesn't realize that when you send money from America back to Mexico or from America to Guatemala, okay, there's an $8 to $10 difference. So if you're paying your migrant labor force here $20 an hour, which is getting hard to find labor for $20 an hour because they need more. But when they're sending that money back, when their family goes to the banco, because that's what they call it in Spanish, goes to the banco down in South America, they're picking up $8 to $10 for every dollar sent.
Right.
The exchange rate.
Yeah.
And so they're making like $200 an hour. You follow me? The $20 an hour here when the family goes to the bank and picks up the money.
160, 180, yeah.
You got it. Thank you for the quick math. And so that's the other thing. What I started to say was, and I hope I got a minute here.
Yep.
To say this, I just got back last night, late last night. My wife and I went to Washington, D.C. for a couple of things. We went down one for a burial in Arlington Cemetery. My wife's uncle of 92 years old just passed away. He was a colonel in the Air Force. And
sorry for your loss.
No, he lived a great life, very accomplished from a farm boy on a small family farm in New Hampshire to become a colonel in the Air Force and run Air Force bases in different parts of the United States. And then his family invited all of us, the family, to go down to Arlington, Virginia, to have a burial service. A full honors military is so moving. I'm not military, but it was so moving. But the thing I want to make point to you, the most sacred ground in this country, I get passionate sometimes, the most sacred ground in this country is, one of them is the Arlington Cemetery. The first thing my wife and I noticed when we were there during this funeral procession with the horses and the carriage and the military and the band and everything was the people that were mowing, weed whacking, taking care of Arlington Cemetery were all of Southern Spanish type descent. You could see it. You could talk to them, visit with them. And so what's that to even tell you? Our own government can't even get domestic people to take care of one of our most sacred grounds, the Arlington Cemetery. That was mind-boggling to me. It was a huge, wide opening. So it isn't just us farmers having troubles with domestic labor. Even the government's having a hard time finding people to take care of our own Arlington Cemetery. And so, make a long story short, I don't know the working status. But Mr. Gendabine is totally right. When we have migrant labor come onto our farm to work for us farmers, okay, and we...
Like 10 seconds.
Okay, we want to check and verify if they're legally here. All we can do is take the documents they provide to us. It is illegal for the farmer to call up and verify if that's totally legal.
We'll continue this on the other side. Thank you for squeezing that in, Ben. More discussion on this and other farm issues, plus the Boonville Oneida County Fair. It's First News Keeler in the morning, WIBX 950 AM.
WIBX Utica Road, W295 Utica.
From the WB Payne Insurance Studios, your news talk leader since 1925. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now the latest from Fox News.
Bombing Iran for an 11th straight night. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Further putting the ceasefire and negotiations in the rearview mirror.
The president always prefers to negotiate and reach a deal on these things. And we're prepared, willing to do that. We've tried to do that now for a year and a half, but we're also not going to sit by and let ships be blown up or Americans be attacked.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio speaking this morning in the Philippines. He says they have to keep the Strait of Hormuz open, but Fox's Trey Yingst reports.
The strait remains largely at a standstill with just 3 commercial vessels passing through on Tuesday, according to Kepler shipping data. The other area of focus remains on Iran's nuclear program that President Trump says will be targeted in the days ahead.
Normally, I wouldn't say that.
If I thought they could do something about it, I would never say that. But we'll be hitting that area pretty soon, and very heavily.
Oil prices keep rising back up more than 3%. Gas is up again today, too. The price at the pump 17 cents higher than a week ago. War Secretary Pete Hegseth went to the Senate pushing for new military funding, and it got testy.
You don't have a strategy. You don't have a long-term plan to actually win this war. Win the war.
Senator Gary Peters among the Democrats who sparred with Hegseth.
When will you show
Why don't you show some leadership and stand up to your fellow Democrats who won't fund the troops, who stand and play partisan politics while you don't give us the money?
The ex-Venezuelan leader captured by the U.S. in January, Nicolas Maduro, who calls himself a political prisoner, returns to court today in New York City.
Alongside his wife, Celia Flores, for a pretrial hearing in his federal drug trafficking case. Today's hearing is expected to involve discussions around evidence discovery, future motions, and possibly set a trial date.
Fox's Ashley Strohmeyer, a congressman, wins a chance to become a governor.
Let's make this the year that we turn Arizona red again.
Andy Biggs beat fellow Congressman David Schweikert in the Republican primary and will try to unseat Democratic Governor Katie Hobbs in November. Another Trump-backed candidate, Mark Lamb, won the GOP primary to replace Biggs. America's listening to Fox News.
Well, it's official. My friends have all switched to Pure Talk because I told them they could save a bunch of money on a super reliable high-speed network with unlimited data. And because they're my friends, they trust me. As for the rest of you, well, Pure Talk understands that even though you might like me, you're not just going to take my word for it, nor should you. For that reason, and for a very limited time, Pure Talk is offering any of their plans for just $15 a month for the first 3 months, including their top-tier unlimited plan that normally sells for $65 a month. Think of it like a test drive, a super simple way to save $150 while you kick the tires on Pure Talk's blazing fast network, and a fine way to see for yourself why I switched from Big Wireless, along with a few 100,000 of my closest friends. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and be connected to Pure Talk's friendly U.S. customer service team. Again, dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and let the savings begin.
Later this morning, President Trump will go to Dover Air Force Base in Delaware for what's called a dignified transfer, paying tribute to the 4 American troops killed last week in the Iran conflict, returning in flag-draped caskets. The last of them has been identified.
The Pentagon said Sergeant Angel Rampersad was killed in action last week when Iran conducted airstrikes on the Jordan base housing American soldiers. Rampersad hailed from Ozone Park, New York, and had been previously listed officially as missing. This is the 4th American casualty within the last several days. 2 others in Jordan, First Lieutenant Tyler James Feehan and Private Isabella Gonzalez, and 1 in Iraq, Sergeant Michael Emmanuel Swinton. The Pentagon is still investigating. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
Tropical storm Bertha keeps moving very slowly in the Gulf, moving closer to Louisiana.
It could bring a wall of water as much as 4 feet. That is your storm surge. That's a possibility above your typical dry land, the Louisiana coast, and then heading towards the Texas coast.
Fox meteorologist Adam Klotz.
Now, if there's any good news with this storm system, most of the heaviest rain from this storm has been kept offshore.
On Wall Street, stock futures are down slightly for the Dow, but more than 100 points for the NASDAQ. Did you watch Spain win soccer's World Cup on Sunday? A lot of Americans did.
Sunday's game between Spain and Argentina saw 38,937,000 viewers tune into Fox. That, according to Nielsen, sets a new record for the most watched soccer telecast in U.S. television history, as well as the most watched FIFA World Cup final ever in the U.S. The number is up 132% from the 2022 World Cup final between Argentina and France.
Fox's Tony Genualdo. In baseball, the Red Sox got rained out in Boston, so they'll try again this afternoon to extend their 14-game win streak. The Sox could get it to 16 by tonight. They play a doubleheader against Baltimore. I'm Dave Anthony. This is Fox News.
We have some rain showers and 67 degrees. Good morning. I'm Jeff Manaski. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM news time is 7:05. This news update is brought to you by Clinton Tractor, the leader in service. Visit clintontractor.net. An employee at the Walmart in North Utica is accused of stealing $30,000 from cash registers there. 21-year-old Jacques Guy of Yorkville is charged with grand larceny in the 3rd degree. Utica police were called to the North Utica Walmart Monday for the alleged theft. Employees told police they witnessed the Yorkville man taking bundles of cash from registers at the end of his shift. Again, he is now charged with grand larceny in the third degree. A Central New York couple is accused of setting their home on fire with their children inside. Dale and Aubrey O'Neill of Manlius have been charged with 4 felony counts of arson and conspiracy, along with misdemeanor charges of endangering the welfare of a child and reckless endangerment. Firefighters were called to the family's burning home along Chrisfield Circle on July 18th. 5 kids were inside the home, but managed to get out unharmed. The fire caused minor damage to the house. Investigators have not said the reason that the O'Neills allegedly set their home on fire. Assemblywoman Marianne Buttonshaw is announcing a package of co-sponsored legislative achievements that have gone into effect this month, strengthening public health and consumer safety, increasing utility bill transparency, and establishing the first comprehensive regulatory framework for protecting consumers in litigation transactions in New York State. She co-sponsored a bill that now Chapter 690 officially prohibits the sale of kratom and kratom products to individuals under the age of 21. Among the other legislative achievements that she is highlighting is a bill requiring all non-public schools to possess and maintain on-site AED equipment in line with current public school requirements. Also directs counties to develop and maintain comprehensive county emergency medical system plans as well. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM news time is 7:08. Here is your Weather Center forecast.
Cloudy, breezy, and cooler today with an occasional shower. The high should eventually hit 71 as winds gust in from the west at times. Then some breaks in the clouds tonight with a low of 51. A little bit of fog early tomorrow, otherwise sunny with a high of 77. And a sunny and warmer afternoon on Friday as the high reaches the low 80s. I'm Jeff Marr at the Weather Channel on WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Right now, some rain, 67 degrees at 7:08. All right, from the IBEW Local 43 Sports Desk, Cam Scadaboo, the Giants running back, continues to get poked over his recently botched backflip attempt. Head coach John Harbaugh joking in an appearance on the Believe in Giants podcast that if Scadaboo is going to attempt a backflip, then he at least has to stick it. Harbaugh confirmed the 24-year-old is healthy and will be ready to go when training camp begins next week. Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback Aaron Rodgers has apparently ended his decade-plus long estrangement from his family. The 42-year-old posted photos of himself and his parents and brother on social media, calling it bonding. Rodgers said in a 2024 documentary that he split from his immediate family years ago, and it stemmed from his parents' strict religious beliefs. Baseball action last night. The Mets shut out the Brewers 4-0. Zach Thornton earned his first win, striking out 2 batters over 6 scoreless innings. The Mets have won 2 of their last 3. They wrap up their 3-game series with the Brewers later today. Yankees and Pirates to play a doubleheader. Tuesday's game between the Pinstripes and Pirates was postponed because of the weather. The game has been scheduled to be made up as part of a doubleheader. Game 1 has been moved up to 1:05 today, and the second game will follow. The Yankees have won 2 straight games. Let's see, anything else I need to mention here? Jets unveiling new whiteout uniforms. A third monochrome uniform for the upcoming season. Gang Green unveiled its whiteout kit on Tuesday, featuring an all-white helmet with the Green Jets logo, white jerseys, and white pants. The new look will debut during the team's Week 2 home opener against the Green Bay Packers. Yeah, I think that's all we're going to get to. Oh, one more on this is LeBron. LeBron James' agent says his client will not be rushed into making a decision on his next destination. He said on his latest edition of the podcast, there's no timetable for the free agent forward to pick his new team, but the teams involved don't have to do any more to make their cases. The 41-year-old is reportedly down to the Miami Heat, the Cavaliers, and the Philadelphia 76ers. What the agent didn't say, which is probably true, is LeBron will not be rushed unless you're going to pay him and put a special on television to make his decision public. He will not be rushed. Otherwise, I don't know if anybody cares anymore at this point about where LeBron's going to go. I do think he'll have an impact, but whatever. It's drama. It's a saga. It's 7-11, a quick commercial break. We'll come back with more. Farmer Ben in studio. You can react to that last segment, the American worker versus maybe a migrant worker, at least as it happens to be on the farm. I don't think what Blake Gendabine said years ago in that interview is that far off base, but we'll discuss it. It's First News Keeler in the morning on WIBX.
If you're watching the market, you may know that gold has pulled back more than 20% from its recent highs. Silver has fallen even further. History shows that this could be the perfect time to diversify your retirement portfolio to include precious metals like gold and silver. In crisis after crisis over the last 50 years, gold fell first, then surged to new highs as the crisis unfolded. That's why Advantage Gold wants to send you a free gold investment guide valued at $49, plus a free copy of economist Ken Rogoff's best-selling book, Our Dollar, Your Problem, when you call 800-900-8000. In today's market, government debt has exploded to nearly $40 trillion, and central banks around the world continue buying gold at record levels. The smart money sees opportunity. If you're considering diversifying a retirement account with precious metals, tax and penalty-free, now is the best time to call Advantage Gold at 800-900-8000. Results vary. Consult your financial advisor before investing. Call 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000.
I've always wanted to learn French, but the app I tried didn't help.
If you want to memorize words in another language, there's an app for that. But if you want to really learn another language, there's Babbel. Babbel was designed by over 200 language learning experts to be the most effective way to learn another language.
With other language learning apps, I was just playing games. I wasn't really learning. Babbel's different. Every time I open the app, I can choose to work on my writing, speaking, or listening. And it saves my mistakes for me to review, so I'm constantly improving. Babbel feels like it was created intentionally by people who really know what you need to learn another language. Before Babbel, I thought I just wasn't good with languages. But now I'm speaking French. Tout ça, c'est grâce à Babbel.
Want to really learn another language? Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription when you sign up at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com to save up to 50%. Babbel.com.
This is Dan from Acme Pool and Spa on Commercial Drive in New Hartford, across from Texas Roadhouse. Get years of summer fun for you and your family with a new above-ground pool starting at just $89.99 installed. You can take advantage of our 0% in-house financing. We can have your new pool installed in about 10 days. Don't let the summer pass you by. If an in-ground pool is your dream, the experts at Acme will guide you through the process. There's nothing better than enjoying summer in your backyard with an in-ground pool. Don't miss out on our midsummer sale with above-ground pools starting at $89.99 installed within about 10 days with our in-house 0% financing. Or let the experts at Acme guide you through selecting a custom in-ground pool, choosing from steel or fiberglass options. That's Acme Pool and Spa on Commercial Drive in New Hartford, and our midsummer pool sale going on now. We do the work, you just enjoy.
Little Falls Lumber has everything you need for home improvement season. They're fully stocked with secondary grade metal in all colors, available in 12-foot lengths and affordable solutions for sheds, garages, and roof repairs. Tired of digging through warped boards at the big box stores? At Little Falls Lumber, you'll find only premium grade lumber, hand-selected for quality. They also carry roofing, siding, windows, doors, and much more. Visit Little Falls Lumber in Little Falls in Syracuse. Call 315-823-2470 or go to littlefallslumber.com.
It's about how you feel when you walk through the doors and when you leave. That's Steep Pawnee Mazda on Commercial Drive in Yorkville. It's the Ricky Z way, right? It's the Steep Pawnee way. But beyond that, it's every single employee. They treat you with the respect, and they understand you're in there for a new vehicle or you're in there for service. It's all about the treatment. This is Bill Keeler. And right now at Steep Pawnee Mazda, save on a new Mazda lease or enjoy 0.9% APR financing on a new 2026 Mazda CX-50 with 1.9% on CX-50 hybrids, 0.9% on the new 2026 Mazda CX-70 and CX-90, and 0% on PHEV models. See the dealership for details. As Rick says, come on in, let's look at the deals. Let's take care of you. How about 2.9% on a new 2026 Mazda CX-30 or CX-5? Where it's always easy to do business, Steve Pawnee Mazda.
Hey, it's your radio buddy Jimmy Fallon, host of Fox Across America. We're talking politics, pop culture, and comedy, minus all the rage and finger-pointing. It's real talk for real people who just want to laugh, think, maybe learn something along the way. So join the fun weekdays at noon right here on WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, Central New York's home for talk that's smart, honest, and just the right amount of crazy. Fox Across America with your main man, Jimmy Fallon.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
All right, it is 7:16. First News Keeler in the morning. First News Keeler on vacation. Bill will be back soon. We are joined in studio this morning by Ben Simons, a local farmer. We can talk some meat and dairy. Did you want to add anything to... We ended last hour by saying that you kind of agree with and see the perspective of Blake Gendabine when we're talking about migrant workers versus maybe the local workforce, especially as it comes to work on a farm.
Yep. No, it's true. There's no question. And he spoke from the heart a few years ago. It's probably not the most politically favorable statements to be talking about during an election, but at the end of the day, it is real. Farming is most generally is a labor-intensive type of job. Very dusty. Lately, we've been making lots of hay up on my farm in Steuben. We haven't had rain in over a month. Different areas have had spots of rain.
Yeah.
And it's been tremendously 80, 90, 100-degree dew temperature. And the domestic workforce, they just don't want to deal with that. You following me? So I've been very fortunate to pick up some Spanish labor to help put my hay away. And it's worked out very well. You follow me?
Yeah.
And I do get all their documents that I have, but I'm going to be telling. I'm very fresh on this one. That when I hire the Spanish labor, I ask them to provide me with their forms of ID and their ID stuff, and we've had them fill out I-9s and everything else, just like the regular workforce. But at the end of the day, if I was the farmer, Ben Simons, to call the Social Security office or call the federal agency and say, hey, listen, I want to verify this ID matches this Social Security number, I could get in trouble. That is totally illegal. I have to accept what is provided to me, whether it's accurate or not, whether in 6 months or a year from now, when we pay in our Social Security to state withholding, and we get a letter back from the I don't want to say the IRS, but the government agency saying, hey, there's a no match. Please verify these numbers. By then, the migrant labor's moved on to other farms because I can only use them temporarily just for my harvest season right now. So that's real. It totally is real.
When Gendabine made the comment, as far as I know, these guys are legal. I'm not obligated to check. I'm not obligated to e-verify. It might even be more accurate to say I'm prohibited.
Correct.
From checking.
I want to correct.
He's not obligated.
He's not obligated. He is prohibited
from checking.
So I want to help Mr. Gendabine on that one. He is prohibited from verifying. You take what's given to you, you put it in the file, and you make documents of it, and you keep track of their state holdings and withholdings. You got to do it all right, because you can get in trouble. So anyway, yes.
More on the rain.
Yep, let's talk about that.
How impactful has it been on farmers? I mean,
yep. So
I'm sure you guys have watering systems when this type of thing occurs.
No,
maybe not.
No, we don't have irrigation here in central New York, but there is irrigation for some of the smaller crop farmers, that want to make sure that they don't have any lack of rain to keep everything coming for the greeneries. But large farmers like myself, and here in central New York, there is no irrigation. Coming home yesterday on the train, we took Amtrak down, Amtrak back. We kind of enjoyed the train ride. I did see some irrigation in eastern New York, north of Albany, on some crop farmers, that grow like cabbage and different greeneries and things, local stuff. I did see an irrigation system there. But we've been a month with no measurable rain on Star Hill, town of Steuben, up in Remsen area. And our corn this past week has just looks like pineapple fields. The leaves have curled up, stood up, and standing straight up, pointing to the sky, which means they're going dormant. They're rolling their leaves up so they don't have the exposure to the sun because there's no water underneath for them to drink. So they've kind of gone dormant. I can guarantee you, Jeff, that now that we had this measurable rain at 5 o'clock this morning when I was going to the barn to feed my calves, because I got a bunch of baby calves in the barn, it was raining profusely up on Star Hill.
Yeah.
And I know in the next 2 days, 3 days, you ever heard the phrase, hear the corn grow? Well, I'm telling you, you watch these cornfields. They're going to go from waist high. They will jump in the next few days to waist high. Waist high to shoulder high.
Yeah.
And you're going to start seeing tassel. No question about it.
Yeah.
Our soybean crop is starting to lag back a little bit. This rain definitely will perk them up. My son, 10 days ago when they were talking some rain up in our area, northern part of Nida County, went out and spread a bunch of liquid nitrogen, urea, to give our crops a boost. And that urea nitrogen fertilizer has just been laying on the ground. It was not washed in. Our hay fields, hay that we cut off our hay fields a couple, 3 weeks ago, all they did was turn brown. They didn't even grow. Our lawns are starting to turn brown. But I can assure you in the next few days, that phrase, hear the corn grow or listen to the corn grow, absolutely. Everything's going to green up and they're going to perk right back up.
So let me ask you this. So early in the growing season for corn, having a dry spell like this, does that make it sweet, not sweet? How does it impact the final product?
As far as really right moment, every year, no matter what, we do go through a little bit of a dry spell. We really do.
Yeah.
Sometimes a little longer than others. But what's really hurting us right today, the most common thing everybody's talking about, is the smoke. What's going to happen is the sweetness of the corn, the photosynthesis, getting kind of chemistry here. But when we have the amount of smoke that we've had in the past week here from the Canadian wildfires, it actually is totally affecting the energy level and the photosynthesis from the sun creating energy and sweetness in our sweet corn is definitely going to affect us a little bit. Is the consumer going to really notice, oh, it's bitter? Not really, but that full-fledged, lush sweet is going to be tampered back just a little tiny bit because of the smoke, and it reflects the sun back. You know what I mean? That full sun doesn't get to the top.
I didn't even think about the smoke.
Yep, the smoke is very, very, very much affects it. And then quickly on that one, smoke thing, my son has GPS in his tractors, and we're past planting season. But a couple years ago, the heavy smoke came to us during corn planting time. And we have GPS tracking in our tractors now, especially the tractor that plants our crops, the corn, and our soybeans. And so we can be more efficient and get every seed per acre that you can possibly get into your ground. And all you do is just make sure everything's working. You just sit back and the tractor steers itself from GPS satellite directional. A couple years ago, there was so much smoke like there was earlier a week ago that my son was sitting in the tractor, and all of a sudden the tractor lost signal from the GPS and started heading for the woods. And my son was like, we're not following these rows. And then he looked over at the monitor, and the tractor totally lost signal, and the tractor was driving on its own.
Wow.
So this GPS, totally anonymous, autonomous tractors is not the end all for everything. But it is, there's no question, modern technology is making us more efficient. We're also now using gridding on our farm so that we go out and we do soil samples across all our fields. And then we know what parts of the fields need more fertilizer, which mean less fertilizer. Sometimes if you have some land that's not as fertile as another part of the field, the planter will automatically slow down the amount of seed in that not so fertile area of your field. And then when you get back to another part of the field that's more fertile, it will it'll juice up the seeds. So this technology is amazing. And so, yeah, and at some point I want to, my good friend Carl Trainer, the historian for the Boonville Nida County Fair, just walked in. And good morning, Carl.
Good morning, Carl. How are you? And
good morning, Carl.
Before we get to the Boonville Nida County Fair, one more thing I wanted to ask you. I figured, I've asked a lot of people about this.
Yep.
No one seems to remember, and I thought maybe a farmer might know. Before 2 or 3 years ago, when we started with this Canadian wildfire smoke, where it was visible tasteable in the air and was affecting our breathing quality.
Yes.
Do you ever remember wildfire smoke impacting us in the last 40, 50 years?
Nope, I don't. I've mentioned that to my family and co-farmers that when I was a kid growing up in New Hampshire and moving here in 1984 in New York, I do not ever remember having the smoke or anything from them Canadian wildfires that we've had in the last couple of years. It's just, no. To answer your question,
I'm not trying to dig a rabbit hole and start a conspiracy. I just don't understand why. I'm still looking for the explanation as to why. Oh, Carl's got a thought. Here we
I
go.
don't know about an explanation, but I was not born yet by several years, but in the old timers around upstate New York talk about 1951, the beginning of October, the end of September, the beginning of October, there was an exceptional warm period of weather. The temperature went up into the lower 80s. This is up in Boonville when we could be having a blizzard by October, or even in Steuben. So there were very bad wildfires out west, and I don't know if they were in Canada or in the United States or both, but people still talk about the sky was like milk gravy for 3 or 4 days. There wasn't sunshine. It was high clouds. But as for me, I do not ever remember before 3 years ago, I think when we had in June, I don't ever remember having smoke like we've had.
I don't know if it's how Canada manages their forests differently. Maybe they used to have more burns that they controlled. I don't know the explanation, but before this started a couple of years ago, nobody remembers growing up and, it was the wildfire smoke, can't be outside, you can't do this. And again, not just my generation, but the older generation and the generation before that. So other than the example you gave, that's the first I've heard. And I still don't know the explanation on it. And again, I'm not trying to start a conspiracy or something. There's got to be a reason. I just don't know what it is.
Everybody talks about global change, and I have my opinion about global warming, global cooling, global change. There's no question there's some sort of global change going on. But global change has been going on ever since the beginning of time because they're finding now tree fossils in the middle of the desert. So at some point in time, things are evolving. And I wonder if the droughts are they're not getting the snowpack in northern Canada that they used to get. What's your opinion, Carl?
I think definitely.
We're getting in Boonville.
Well, but not like we used to.
Okay.
We do not have snow or winter in Boonville like we used to. Even though the last couple winters were really tough winters, we don't have the 30, 40 below zero weather anymore like we used to. You could add it up and you could figure on a month of 25 to 35 below zero weather.
Yeah.
And generally the snow doesn't come as early as it used to, and our falls I've noticed our falls, and I'm just little Joe Gardener around the corner. I like my garden, that we don't have the early frosts that we used to have. And we're going to talk about the fair, but this kind of leads into it, in the 1920s, 30s, 40s, the fair was held at all different times of the year. I have stories of it being in August, sometimes earlier August, middle August, Labor Day weekend. That was common to have the Boonville Fair on Labor Day weekend. And then, or even a little bit later. And in 1947, the fair committee got together and decided we are sick of freezing in the evenings in Boonville at the fair when the fair is in early September, and they moved it back to the first week in August is when it used to be.
Yeah.
And for the last 40 years, since 1985, it's been earlier than that. But the fair industry in New York State today is dominated by the carnival business. When carnivals are available, that's when you have to have the fair, unless you're a very large organization such as like the State Fair or a few other fairs in New York State. But the fair season started last week in upstate in New York State, and Labor Day is absolutely the last day. It's the way we're set up. It's the way because school starts the day after Labor Day, fall sports start before Labor Day. The fairs, they wouldn't be able to get crowds.
Well, I have breaking news for you.
Okay.
As far as I can tell, and I'm not an authority on this, things have changed this year with kids going back to school.
I've heard that.
August 26th in New Hartford, August is their first day back. Utica, Rome, Holland Patton, and Whitesboro are all in the range of September 2nd, 3rd, or 4th, which is a few days ahead. It's the week ahead of Labor Day. Labor Day is the 7th this year.
Right.
And I don't quite understand why we're doing that. I know we have snow days and they got to get 180 days in, but let's not forget we give them off 2 full weeks for Christmas and New Year's. They get a week in February, a week in April, a ton of holidays. But there is a trend, at least in New York, and I actually talked to somebody in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania, and then another person in Syracuse who said, at least in their districts, they're starting the day after Labor Day. So I don't know if this is specific to the Mohawk Valley, because it doesn't seem to be a statewide trend. Again, I talked to somebody whose children go to the Syracuse district. A buddy of mine in Texas, the whole conversation started, what piqued my interest is his kids start like August 15th or 16th in Texas, which I thought was very early. And I said, no, we don't start till, right after Labor Day. And so it's a little bit of a change there. So maybe the Boonville and Oneida County Fair in the near future will be moving up a week because you want to get them before they go back, right?
If you're in the fair business, I suppose the farming business, definitely in the carnival business, everyone called last year and this year the odd year, in quotes, because last year a lot of people said to me, oh, Carl, the fair is so early. We can't go this year because we'll still be busy putting away the snowblower. And every fair was early last year because Labor Day was the 1st of September.
Yeah.
So this year, the calendar shifted like it does about every 7 years. Labor Day is the 7th of September.
Yep.
It's as late as it can be. And I think that's some of the reason why schools are starting in, and then they have a little break over Labor Day weekend.
Yeah. So we're talking with Carl Trainer in studio about the upcoming Boonville and Oneida County Fair. We'll highlight some of the events coming up. Also joining us in studio, local farmer Ben Simons. We'll take a quick time out and come back with more wrestling, country music, tractor pulls, and much more. We'll outline what you can expect at the fair this year and talk about America's 250th. It's First News Keeler in the morning on WIBX.
Ugh, honey, what is this?
Well, you said you wanted a cocktail, but all of our bottles were pretty low. So I just mixed them all together with ice in the shaker and voila. I call it the Desperado. What do you think?
Well, you nailed the name. It tastes like desperation in a glass.
No good?
Oh, honey, we need Breamers. Fast.
I really don't want to run out right now.
You don't have to. Anyone can get Breamers delivered right away with DoorDash or Instacart.
Even just one bottle?
Yep, but we live close enough and we want to stock up, so we can order direct at BremersWineandLiquor.com. Ooh, we can get free delivery with our first order on their mobile app.
So many delivery options. Talk about convenience, huh?
Bremer's Wine and Liquor, Commercial Drive, New Hartford. Delivering the biggest selection, the lowest prices, and the ultimate in convenience.
Okay, try this.
Now that's more like it. What do you call this one?
The Bremer's Breeze, because delivery from Bremer's makes it
a breeze.
Yeah.
Nailed the name again.
The summer sale is on at Mattress Express. Get a king for the price of a queen for the price of a full, and a full for the price of a twin. Ask how to get upgraded to an adjustable base for free. Go to mattressexpressny.com.
You wouldn't drive a car without suspension, so why mow without it? Ferris Commercial Mowers set the bar as the first and only manufacturer to integrate suspension into their mowers, allowing you to go faster, cut better, and not get beat up. Whether you're a professional cutter or a homeowner that wants to mow like a pro, Ferris is there with the commercial-grade mowers to keep you going strong. Visit the Caledonia family today at Clinton Tractor to set up a test drive and feel the Ferris difference.
We are the leader in service, Clinton Tractor.
This is Bill Keeler, and I have to tell you, my family relies on New York Sash, and we have several times when it comes to home improvement, and so have so many members of our family. And right now, there's an awesome time for you to take advantage of what New York Sash has to offer with their America 250 sale as they celebrate America's 250th with an amazing opportunities here. Right now, when you buy 2 windows, you'll get 1 free. 4, get 2 free. 10, get 5 free. The list goes on. There's no limit. Plus, you'll save 50% off expert bath installation. And here's the biggie. This is huge. Qualified buyers can receive 0% financing for 25 months, making it easier for you to do it now and not use the maybe next year excuse. It's time to do it now. It's New York Sash. Go to NewYorkSash.com for details. Call them 624-7344 or visit them on Oriskany Boulevard in Whitesboro, New York Sash.
Cloudy, breezy, and cooler today with an occasional shower. The high should eventually hit 71 as winds gust in from the west at times. Then some breaks in the clouds tonight with a low of 51. A little bit of fog early tomorrow, otherwise sunny with a high of 77. And a sunny and warmer afternoon on Friday as the high reaches the low 80s. I'm Jeff Marr at the Weather Channel on WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
All right, we are back. First News Keeler in the morning on WIBX. I have a correction to make here, and I apologize.
One of our critics called in.
Well, you know what, though?
No, it's accurate information.
I'm glad that they did, because I'd be spouting out the wrong information. So we had talked yesterday on the program, and we had gotten information that New Hartford was going back 8/26, August 26th. That is not correct. Smitty?
A district official from New Hartford School District was listening to the show. She called in and says New Hartford goes back on September 3rd.
So the information I got, I don't know if maybe teachers have to report that early, but I will correct that. It is not 8/26. It is 9/3 when New Hartford goes back. And that's in line with what we looked up and found out yesterday about Utica, Rome, Holland Patton, Whitesboro. They're all going back around that time, but the week prior to Labor Day. I apologize. Don't mean to mislead anybody, but we had heard from a parent who was upset that their vacation at the end of August was going to be cut short because they had to go back. So apparently they were misinformed on that topic as well.
But I can assure you, Jeff, that the Boonville Oneida County Fair is going to open up next Tuesday. I can assure you of that, because you got Carl Trainer here, and he will not let me mess up on the Boonville Fair.
I don't know.
Next Tuesday is what, the 28th?
The 28th.
Okay, we got that correct.
Right. Yeah.
And it runs Tuesday through Sunday.
Right.
So almost a full week long for the fair, and you got a lot of fun stuff. Some of the favorites that people like. You got a big country concert. You got a tractor pull. You got more kids' activities, it looks, this year.
Yes.
And the addition, Smitty's ears perked up, you got some professional wrestling going on up there. So where do you want to begin?
Well,
go, Carl, you go.
I'm pretty flat-footed on a lot of what goes on at the fair. I live near the fairgrounds. I live very near the fairgrounds. I grew up at the fair. I've always greatly enjoyed any county fair or state fair. They're true Americana. And part of what makes them so special is they happen once a year. And hopefully, although in Boonville, people have often referred to the fair, Boonville Oneida County Fair, as the great rainmaker, because you could have
I'll testify to that, because it seems like if we have a major drought in Oneida County, I guarantee you the drought will end during the Boonville Oneida County Fair.
Yep. Our president, Dave Hyatt, who has his roots or have been in farming all his life, will joke, and he'll say to the farmers, you let us know when you need rain, and we'll have the fair.
Yeah, that's a funny one.
It is. There was the year we had the country show, Lori Morgan. It was a nice hot July, summer day, late July, and a thunderstorm approached as the showtime approached. It came from a direction that we almost never get a thunderstorm from, and it hung over Boonville for 2.5 hours. The Constableville field days were on, and I gave up on the fair and got in the old buggy and rolled up to Constableville to go to the field days. And we could hear it thunder over Boonville, but there was no rain. But as far as the fair goes,
and that being said, I want to add to that. So after the Lori Morgan cancellation, I decided I gave up on the fair, and I decided to go back home to Steuben. As soon as I got to the town limit lines of Boonville, the roads were dry.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Carl.
Jim, I was at that Lori Morgan show, and I remember that storm. She hung out on the bus for most of the time, and
she was hoping to perform.
Unfortunately, she didn't perform.
No, the lightning was cloud to ground lightning. It was a bad storm. So as far as the wrestling, I don't ever remember a wrestling show at the Boonville Fair. Do you, Ben?
Nope, I do not. This is new. We had the opportunity at the fair convention out Syracuse. What it is, guys, is we're trying to mix the fair up a little bit and bring in some new shows. So what we did on Wednesday, Carl verify, we moved the horse pull back a little bit. So we're starting the horse pull earlier in the afternoon. The lightweights, I believe, is going to be 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and the heavyweights are going to be at 4 o'clock in the afternoon on Wednesday, and then we're going to start right in with the wrestling at 7 o'clock. And so go ahead, Carl. I didn't mean to steal your thunder.
No, not at all. Through the years, we've had a great variety of entertainment at the fair. And Ben said, to switch things up a little bit. When I was growing up, and I think all of us here in this room, the big nights at the fair. Well, a country is always, at the Boonville Oneida County Fair, has played a big role, country music. And we've had some great country stars through the years. Probably the biggest star we ever had, or the luckiest, was Jeannie C. Riley. When we booked her to come to the fair, and that was in August. She was there August 3rd, 1973. One of the biggest, or if not the biggest night in the history of the fair, was we booked her in, I believe, in April that year.
Yeah.
And in between, when we signed her on and the fair came, she had that big hit. The big song that she did.
I'm not familiar.
Yeah, before my time, but Carl will figure it out.
I love that you can remember the artist, the date, and the weather forecast.
And the weather was
not the song. It's hilarious.
And I can't think of the Harper Valley PTA, I think was the song. That was her big song. And we had one big turnout. And over the fair, over the years.
Yeah, Harper Valley PTA.
Harper Valley
Look
PTA.
at that, he did get it.
That was a great song. You should play a little clip of it.
He just needed to be challenged.
So, but other than country, when we were, I think this fits all of us in the room here, the big entertainment at the fair was Hell Drivers, the Daredevils, the Thrill Show. And we had Joey Chitwood and Jack Kochman. They were two big nights at the fair. And the funny part about it is that from year to year to year to year, you never missed it. But the jokes were all the same. The stunts were all the same. Chitwood always ended with a car going that went through. And another very interesting thing in fair and carnival history, and the two are entwined together. The big ride at the end of World War II on a carnival was called the Spitfire. You got in these tubs, and it went around in a circle. It went quite high in the air, not as high as other rides, and then it came down rapidly, and it went around and around like that. And the tub was decorated to look like an airplane.
Okay.
And the men loved it. The boys loved it because they were joining the Air Force when they went on that ride. That ride was a direct offshoot of World War II and the Korean War. So then, on a happier note than those two things, which during the war, some fairs weren't held. Boonville Fair wasn't held in the summer of 43 because of World War II. There wasn't gas. The committee felt it was improper to have a fair at such a time.
It's usually a celebratory type thing.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So And some carnivals did not go over the road during World War II. And the ones that did, they struggled because it was so hard to find help. Anyone that was able-bodied enough to tear down a carnival and set it up and work in a carnival was also able-bodied enough to be in the Army. And so carnivals were very short of help. And the other interesting fact about that was they were also subject to blackouts. And a carnival that operated along the East Coast, and I don't think it extended far in as Boonville, but would have blackouts and they could not have lights on the rides.
I'm sorry, continue.
Oh, okay. So getting back to the fair, and then in the 60s, the big things on the Midway in the early 70s, after the country went to the moon and we walked on the moon, you suddenly saw on the carnivals moonwalks, these great big plastic bubbles, and you go in and you jump around, and it was like there wasn't gravity, but there was. But that was the moonwalk. Or the dark ride was, well, we're going to get in this car and ride through this dark and scary things and fly to Mars, the flight to Mars. So on the Chitwood Thrill Show, it was a big canister that a car drove up a ramp, and it was loaded with fireworks, so it would explode when the car went through and fly out the other end and then down the ramp. That was the end of the show. So that would be a canister. It fit on the back of a tractor trailer. Maybe it said on it, Joey Chitwood Thrill Show. But then after we walked on the moon, that became a rocket. And it looked like a rocket taking off when the car went through it. Then after that, they linked up with a Coca-Cola company, I think, and it became Mr. Pibb, and it was a can of soda that would explode when the car went through.
You're saying this is all the same ride, essentially?
It was all the same attraction.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it was all the same attraction.
But just what was going on in society. And that's really how fairs got their start, was the Grange was founded to combat the railroads, who had a monopoly on transportation in this country and were terrible on the farmers to transport their crops, transport fertilizer, transport cattle, and maybe not so much around here, but in the Midwest, where the routes were long, where there wasn't so much competition. So the Grange was founded as a political element to get the railroads regulated, and then the Grange went right along with the fair business. And if you don't mind, I have a short story about.
Do you want to go to Audrey first before we? Because Carl can hang out.
Yes, I can.
So
I'm out of bed.
So just quickly, Audrey Donahoe, which is a Northeast Dairy Association president. I asked her if she could call in and give a report on what's going on with the Northeast Dairy Association, and she's out in Chicago. So, Audrey, are you there?
Good morning, Ben. I'm here. Can you hear me?
We can, Audrey. Go ahead, Audrey. Tell us what you're doing and where you are and how you're representing the dairy farmers of Central New York.
Sure thing, Ben. So, like you said, I currently serve as president of American Dairy Association Northeast, which is 5 states in the Northeast, about 6,000 dairy farmers, and it's quite an honor for me to serve in the position that I serve in. So right now, I'm at a national promotion meeting, and we've had some pretty exciting events that we've been participating here. I also serve as National Dairy Council Chairwoman. So we just attended School Nutrition Association. It's their annual national conference, and man, dairy has its presence there. So it's about 6,000 attendees. There's about 3,000 school nutrition professionals that attend, 2,500 exhibitors, about 990 booths, and very, very interactive. So when I say school nutrition professionals, all 50 states have their own School Nutrition Association boards, and these are participants from all over the United States. And dairy is number one, front and center. We had a booth there. It was very interactive. We participated in some sessions. We had a dairy farmer that did a virtual farm tour. That was a huge hit. And one of our biggest programs we've been working on is called Smart Swaps. Now, that's something National Dairy Council created. We recruited 2 chefs, Chef V and Chef Lindsay, and their energy is just contagious. They created recipes for breakfast that contain all dairy, and it's kid-tested, kid-approved, and it's not only does it meet the dietary guidelines, it's also reimbursable. That's a huge thing for schools, Ben, because, a lot of these schools, their budget depends on taking care of everything but feeding these kids. They rely on getting reimbursed, for the food they're feeding them. So this is a great program that we've implemented, and the highlight of the whole meeting, this is why I wanted to share this with you, Secretary Rawlings came and spoke. She is all about dairy. She is all about whole milk in schools. She is all about farmers. I mean, she spoke so highly of us that it sure was just a nice, refreshing. I'm sitting in the audience listening to her, and I said, just coming off of June is Dairy Month, which is cool for farmers. We have a whole month that, recognizes the work we do, the food we produce, the healthy, nutritional value of milk and dairy products, and she spoke very, very highly of dairy farmers. So that was very refreshing for me as well as everybody in the audience. So I'm at a national meeting now, like I said, just going over a recap of June, where we're going this fall, what can we do to help farmers and schools and the school nutrition professionals to get whole milk in schools. So American Dairy Association Northeast, we've been working on a lot of resources, a lot of ways that we can help these schools get the whole milk in them. AmericanDairy.com is the website, and like I said, a lot of resources there for us. Another thing in the Northeast we work on is we call it a food expo, and it's kind of like a smaller version within New York State of the School Nutrition Association, where we have chefs that create recipes, and we have kids from all over New York State schools come in. They taste these foods, and what they like is what we want to serve them. So once we go through the food expo, these kids are trying all these different recipes. What they like is what we encourage the schools to serve them, because the school professionals, they want to see the kids eat. So they want to make sure what they're serving them is something they're going to enjoy. So that's something we're working on in New York for this fall.
So, Audrey, so are we all set? The main question that I want to answer to everybody at the Boonville-Oneida County Fair, as a dairy farmer, are we all set now for the school nutrition year to be serving whole milk to all these children this year in the food program this coming fall, like in a couple weeks?
Yeah, well, it depends on every school, Ben. I mean, it just depends on the bids, the contracts, who the school is going to get their milk from. Is it going to be able to be provided to them any way, shape, or form, whether it's a dispenser or it's in a container, or, it just depends on the actual school. But that's why American Dairy Association Northeast has put together all of these resources, information, any kind of help that we can do to help you get whole milk in your school is what we're all about. So very proactive on this, and we want to make sure that every school has the opportunity to do just that, serve that whole milk.
Audrey is the president of the American Dairy Association Northeast.
Yes.
And then, of course, Ben, we have Ben in here with us. Our audience very familiar with Ben. I want to ask you, you often stress the whole milk. And why? As opposed to 2%, 1%, or skim. I prefer the lighter, lesser versions on the milk, but Ben, you've highlighted this before, and Audrey, I want your perspective as well. And you're specifically mentioning whole milk in schools, and why not 2 or 1%?
Yep, and seeing that I have Audrey on the phone, I'd like Audrey to answer all that for us. Go ahead, Audrey.
So all milk is good for you, right? Like it all is that nutrient pack. Like, I mean, you think about a glass of milk, and man, you've got that whole nutrient package there, no matter what. So it kind of stems back to your preference. Some kids like the taste of whole milk better. Some kids like the lighter flavored milk. I mean, but all milk is good for you. So it was just a milestone for farmers to be able to get that whole milk back in school, to be USDA reimbursable to these schools, because it stems back to the taste. And that's what we want our kids to do, is drink more milk. So if they prefer the taste of the whole milk, good for them. Now that they have the opportunity to have that, all milk is good, though. It just depends on your taste preference.
It was not reimbursable, USDA reimbursable previously?
No,
before
it was
time?
not. No.
Okay, that's why.
Yep.
it
And so,
specifically
with the
highlighted.
help of Northeast Dairy Association, go ahead, Audrey, explain, if you can, quickly how that school bid lunch programs work. 'Cause the lunch program in schools is a separate entity of a school. Go ahead, Audrey.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, a lot of times we know how the school budget runs. They just, that part of their budget doesn't include purchasing food because it's USDA reimbursable. So they can, whatever they feed, they can get reimbursed by USDA. That's where their money comes in to feed the kids and to provide the school lunches and breakfast as well. We're working on now getting this into the breakfast in the schools. So that's primarily why, the whole milk was not part of that reimbursable part of the reimbursable part of USDA. So now that whole milk is back in, you can be reimbursed for it. But, it all stems back to the school budgets. I mean, and I was enlightened myself when I first started working on all of this that a lot of these schools do not have budgets to feed for the food program. So when they solely rely on being reimbursed, they're going to use their budgets for other areas in the school. So, yeah, it was pretty educational for myself.
All right, Audrey is the president of the American Dairy Association Northeast. We appreciate you spending some time with us here this morning.
And I thank you, Audrey, from calling. You're all the way out in Chicago, if I believe right?
Yes, that's where our national meeting is right now in Chicago. And I appreciate the opportunity to be able to, let everybody know where the resources are, what we're doing in the Northeast, working on behalf of dairy farmers, and I'm honored to represent all of them.
And so everybody knows Jeff and Audrey, and everybody is. Audrey actually is a farmer. Her and her husband farm both on the Oneida County. Audrey, go ahead and give them your bio a little bit so that they know that you're actually taking time away from your farm to do what you're doing for us.
Yeah, sure. No problem, Ben. My husband, Jeff, and I have a farm in Clayville. We have 6 children, 9 grandchildren, and I got to say in this phase of my life, it's the best part about having kids is all these grandkids. But our farm name is Atris Farm, and it's the first letter of each of my kids' names in order of age. Arnold, Tom, Rick, Allison, Sam, Seth. I'm a 5th-generation dairy farmer. My husband, Jeff, is a 4th, so I told him that makes me the senior partner in our operation.
And how many cows you milking up there, Audrey, with you and Jeff?
Yeah, we have a little over 200 head. We milk about 100 head. We have primarily registered Holsteins. We do have some registered Brown Swiss. And we have a sprinkle of every breed around the farm because as each grandkid decided they wanted to show, they wanted a different breed so they didn't have to compete against each other. So, yeah, we just, we love being a part of the business. We love our farm. We love our cows. And I'm very passionate about promoting not only dairy, but agriculture in itself. It's, it's in our blood. It's our roots. It's just something we really enjoy being in the dairy business.
Well, we appreciate your time again this morning and have a great day. We need to take a break for our top of the hour news on WIBX.
People of all ages can experience any level of discomfort for knee pain, hip pain, back pain, and you know what? It could be stemming from your feet. This is Bill Keeler. The Good Feet Store is here to help, and there are so many that swear by these inserts that go into your shoes and make all the difference in the world when it comes to pain. It's a 3-step system, strengtheners, maintainers, and relaxers. There's a whole program that you follow, and it could very well change your life when it comes to pain. It's called the Good Feet Store. No obligation. You can walk right in for a free fitting and test walk. No appointment is needed. You can walk right in. They're located now in New Hartford at 4630 Commercial Drive in New Hartford. Get directions, make an appointment if you like, ask questions, 315-999-3910. It's the Good Feet Store, 315-999-3910.
Is your business the best at what you do? Then you should be a Central New York's Industry Ace. Our Industry Aces are made up of the best businesses in the region, and we'll help you tell your story to thousands of consumers in the Mohawk Valley. With a combination of on-air and online testimonial commercials, along with targeted social media ads that are guaranteed to reach the consumers you want to be talking to. And best of all, these messages are coming directly from WIBX Utica Road, W2
From the WB Paint Insurance Studios, your news talk leader since 1925. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now the latest from Fox News.
After the talking stopped, the bombing of Iran continues. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. The U.S. military launched airstrikes an 11th straight night, hitting military facilities and drone storage, trying to degrade Iran's ability to keep attacking ships in the Strait of Hormuz.
We remain open to diplomacy. We remain open to working it out in a negotiated way. But right now, they don't seem to be serious about that. And so we're going to continue to protect shipping.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio said that this morning in the Philippines after meeting with China's foreign minister.
They've been pretty clear that they don't support any tolling or restrictions on global shipping through an international waterway.
Only a few ships got through the strait yesterday, and this morning oil prices keep rising back up. WTI back to around $88 a barrel, $20 higher than when July started, and the price of the gas pump's gone up 17 cents since last Wednesday. Later this morning, the commander-in-chief will go to Delaware, where 4 flag-draped caskets will arrive. American troops killed last week in Jordan and Iraq.
President Trump says it will be a great honor to pay his respects to the American service members at the dignified transfer today at Dover Air Force Base. Last night, the Department of War announced another soldier killed in last weekend's enemy attack. Sergeant Angel S. Ramperstad, 28 years old, of Ozone Park, New York, bringing the total number of service members killed in the conflict to 18.
Fox's Jackie Heinrich at the White House. A Trump-backed Republican congressman could be Arizona's next governor.
I have every bit of confidence that we're going to win. We're going to get our message out, our message of restoring the American dream to Arizona.
Andy Biggs will try to unseat Democratic Governor Katie Hobbs in November. Biggs got more than 70% of the vote, beating fellow Congressman David Schweikert in the GOP primary. 2 other Trump-backed Republicans also won primaries. Mark Lamb trying to replace Biggs in Congress. Former NFL kicker Jay Feely is vying to take Schweikert's House seat. A Democratic congressman in Arizona fended off a challenge from the left. Greg Stanton beat a Democrat socialist in the primary. America's listening to Fox News.
Well, it's official. My friends have all switched to Pure Talk because I told them they could save a bunch of money on a super reliable high-speed network with unlimited data. And because they're my friends, they trust me. As for the rest of you, well, Pure Talk understands that even though you might like me, you're not just going to take my word for it, nor should you. For that reason, and for a very limited time, Pure Talk is offering any of their plans for just $15 a month for the first 3 months, including their top-tier unlimited plan that normally sells for $65 a month. Think of it like a test drive, a super simple way to save $150 while you kick the tires on Pure Talk's blazing fast network, and a fine way to see for yourself why I switched from big wireless, along with a few 100,000 of my closest friends. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and be connected to Pure Talk's friendly U.S. customer service team. Again, dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and let the savings begin.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio also addressed another potential conflict today. President Trump has said that Cuba may be next as the U.S. pushes for change in the communist country.
Cuba matters to us because it's 90 miles from our shores and it has a direct impact on our national security, be it the things they've been involved in the past, the countries they've aligned with in the past and currently, or the threat of mass migration.
After the U.S. capture of Venezuela's leader in January, Cuba's access to that country's oil was cut. President Trump then threatened any country supplying oil to Cuba with tariffs, leading to big fuel shortages there. And speaking of ousted leader Nicolas Maduro, he's due back in court in New York City this afternoon.
Maduro and his wife, who have been held at a Brooklyn detention center since they were abducted by the United States from their Caracas home, both face drug trafficking charges. Both have pleaded not guilty. If convicted, they could be sentenced to life for conspiring to send cocaine into the United States. The White House calls their abduction a surgical law enforcement operation, Maduro calling himself a political prisoner of war. Gary Baumgarten, Fox News.
New York City's mayor wants another world leader put behind bars when he comes to the UN in September. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Zoran Mamdani posted on social media,
the architect of a horrific genocide against the Palestinian people. He is responsible for the killing of more than 73,000 people.
Mamdani adds that he is determined he doesn't have the authority to arrest Netanyahu while in New York on a warrant issued by the International Criminal Court.
The federal government, however, does, and I call on them to join the ICC and execute this warrant.
The American government does not recognize the court's jurisdiction. President Trump has posted on Truth Social that Netanyahu will not be arrested and, quote, any way, shape, or form while in the United States of America.
That's Kevin Uretsky. I'm Dave Anthony, and this is Fox News.
Cloudy, breezy, and cooler today with an occasional shower. The high should eventually hit 71 as winds gust in from the west at times. Then some breaks in the clouds tonight with a low of 51. A little bit of fog early tomorrow, otherwise sunny with a high of 77. And a sunny and warmer afternoon on Friday as the high reaches the low 80s. I'm Jeff Marr at the Weather Channel on WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
It is First News Keeler in the morning on WIBX 806. We're talking a bit about the Boonville Oneida County Fair. I want to get into the meat prices and Chuck Schumer's press conference earlier this week. But Carl, what were you just showing me? You had.
I was showing you a nighttime view of the Midway at the Boonville Oneida County Fair that I took from my front lawn.
Oh, yeah. So you're right across the street, obviously.
Right across the
for
street.
Sure.
Yes.
So we'll talk more about the Boonville Oneida County Fair coming up. It kicks off on Tuesday. Before I forget, and we run out of time, I got to ask Farmer Ben. Chuck Schumer held a press conference this week talking about meat prices, which are up. I have to say this. You warned us at least last fall, but possibly a year ago, that because of a couple of things that happened in the country, and we don't need to rehash that beef prices were going to be on the rise, and they were going to be going up for the foreseeable future, and not for a couple of weeks, but maybe for like a couple of years.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's totally true. So what's going on quickly is the beef herd in the United States of America is down to what it was in 1951. I just read that the other day. That's the new standard number. And you have more people, as you know. So beef is extremely high because it's running kind of in short supply a little bit. But at the end of the day, the reason beef is high, yes, it's a little short, but it's still there. But the second most important part of this is it is consumer driven. People are still going to the grocery store and they're reaching for beef. Now, the latest, hottest, newest thing is that you guys aren't really talking about yet is the price of beef actually to the farmer has actually started to come down just a little bit because beef prices, like I warned you, it was going to get a little bit high and people were going to start backing off and finding a different way to feed protein to their family. So now all of a sudden there's starting to be more of a demand for chicken, pork, lamb, that sort of thing. So beef has backed off just a little bit. But you in the grocery store aren't going to see that at least for another few months because they have to get the expensive animals that have been purchased through the system. Okay? But still, even today, cattle are still crazy money. You take a regular, ordinary dairy cow out of my barn and send her for beef because she's no longer viable in the dairy line. She's still bringing $2,500 to $3,000 a live animal. The other thing I want to make mention and clarity for the people out there is, yes, the beef herd is down compared to what it was numbers-wise to 1951. But at the same time, back in 1951, the average beef cow that was going to butcher was in the 600 to 800 pound range. Today, the average beef cow is in that 1,200 pound range. So even though our numbers are down, the pounds of beef being raised is still pretty good. You know what I mean? There's not going to be a shortage. But at the end of the day, beef is high because the consumer is still reaching for that red meat at the meat counter.
Yeah.
I hope I made sense of that.
So, but what
it's
about
demand, supply and demand?
Schumer said on the breaking up monopolies, and there's only 4 companies that supply 85% of the beef.
That is a fact. That is a fact. That there is 4 large companies that basically control 85% of the beef being slaughtered, butchered, and put into the stores in the United States. Now, that being said, a few years back, if you guys remember, there was a slaughterhouse looking to come to here to Central New York. They were looking at Oneida County. They were looking at Herkimer County. They were looking at Lewis County. And at the end of the day, nobody wanted it in their backyard. You follow me? They thought, oh my God, we're going to have cows running around with bullets. I'm getting a little exaggerated, but just go with me. People were thinking we're going to have dead cows laying around and bones all over the place. And slaughterhouses have a I don't know the exact word, but a presense of being dirty, nasty, and then things of that. They're not. They're very high tech. They're very animal safety, animal conscientious, animal rights people take care of it.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is we don't have a big, huge, large slaughter facility in central New York due to regulations. It's hard to do business in New York, as you know. And the communities all banned against them. So that is a problem.
So let me ask you this question.
I didn't mean to be so graphic, but it's real.
I understand. For instance, there is often complaints you'll hear from people. There is a food manufacturing facility.
Dog food.
Yeah, over
couple of them.
On Oriskany Boulevard as you're going from Utica, Yorkville to Whitesboro.
Yep.
And what did you just do? You plugged your nose.
Because you can smell it.
Right. And I think that's one of the knocks. I don't know if people think it's like filthy dirty.
Right.
Or like disease and bacteria. But when you have the carcass and the remains, there can be an odor, especially in the warmer months.
There can be. But at the end of the day, all the places, I'm going by vague memory, but all the places that they proposed to build a slaughterhouse here in Oneida County was not in downtown Utica or New Hartford or Whitesboro. You know what I mean? It was on the outskirts. But at the end of the day, there's so modern technology now of everything they do that they're very clean, they're very sanitized, and they're very, there's a word for animal safety. You follow me? They're not cruel anymore. That's just not acceptable. And so it just, that's what's happening. And they keep consolidating. But at the end of the day, guys, there's only 4 large companies handling the 85% of the beef in America right now. But I just want to throw it out, and I don't want anybody getting mad at me. But remember the last time when the federal government got involved with 2 big corporations called Ma Bell? And they broke up Ma Bell into AT&T and all these other big companies and everything that are out there even today. What did that do for you? Sure, for a short period of time, the competition lowered the price. And then all of a sudden, here we are now with our big expensive telephone bills and everything else we got. So the way you really got to handle this is that they've got to build more facilities.
Those were landline phones, though?
They were. That was back in my day. I remember when Ma Bell got broke up.
When you say these big expensive phone bills nowadays, though, I haven't seen a landline phone bill in 10 years. So,
right.
But anyway, okay.
But that,
you got one,
and Carl still has them on the wall. And well, we're talking Boonville here. We're a little bit. Time gets by without
Green Acres. We go up the telephone pole like Green Acres.
So go ahead with your point.
But my point is, ladies and gentlemen, that we do need to build some more facilities, and we need people to start raising more cattle. The bottom line is beef is high. It is a supply and demand product. And right now, there's no question there's probably some collusion going on. I know Donald Trump and the DOJ is researching it, checking into it, because there's no question there is some, when you get that big, there is some collusion going on. But at the end of the day, the consumer is still reaching in the grocery store for red meat. I hope I made that.
No, you absolutely did. And I want to mention this. So you think Schumer's making a good point here?
He is making a good point. Sometimes he gets a little crazy on me. But at the end of the day, I will tell you, the people out there, when I first heard it, I was in Washington when I heard this. And I almost like, oh, my God, I got to get home and get this figured out. Because the first thing is when Chuck Schumer brought up about we got to lower the price of beef, wait a minute. The first person that's going to take the hit on that is going to be the farmer. The farmer is always the person that takes the hit because the transportation guy, he gets his transportation to move that beef from the farm to the butcher shop. Then the butcher shop has to make their money. Then the butcher shop sells it to the grocery store. So then you have the trucker that makes his margin. Then you have the grocery store that has to make his margin. The only person in this whole food chain, I don't care if you're talking milk or beef or large crops, at the end of the day, the farmer is always the one that's the minority in this. And remember what I said earlier, many shows, 2% or less than 2% of your entire population produce the food that the rest of the 98 get to enjoy. So when it comes to pushing back on the price of things, guess who gets beat up? It's the farmer, because he's 2%. Thank you for that, Jeff.
You're welcome. Talking with local farmer
and
Ben
I'm hoping
Simons.
Richard Ball, because he's going to be coming on, our commissioner of New York State Ag will be coming on, and that would be a good question for him also.
We are going to break away from the farm conversation for a moment. We'll be talking about some upcoming events at the Utica Zoo. Carl, are you sticking around for the rest of the program, or? Okay, we'll take a break then. I didn't want to jump off the topic without saying goodbye. We'll talk more about the Boonville Oneida County Fair coming up later. Maybe we'll give away some tickets. We do have a giveaway today for a concert going on in Old Forge later this month, end of the month. I think it's actually August 1st. We'll have that coming up as well. It's First News Keeler in the morning on WIBX.
Hurt in a car, call William Attar. 315-444-4444.
Utica and the Mohawk Valley, the summer sale is on. This is the big one at upstate New York's largest specialty bedding retailer, Mattress Express. Listen to this. This is a great deal, folks. On select beds, get a king for the price of a queen for the price of a full, and a full for the price of a twin. Save. If that weren't enough, pick out any king or queen set in the store, buy one, and get upgraded to an adjustable base for free. You heard me right. Take up to 5 years to pay with no money down for qualified buyers, and no credit check payment plans every day. A massage chair? On select massage chairs, get a $500 prepaid Visa card. In New Hartford on Commercial Drive next to Pet Supplies Plus. Oneida and the Glenwood Plaza by the movie theaters. In Rome on Black River Boulevard in the Black River Plaza. Go to mattressexpressny.com. Call 1-800-NEW-BEDS.
Man, I love this place. I've been surfing here since I was a kid. Now, seeing my grandson out on the water, it means everything to me. Watching him and taking in the blue waves, the sea breeze, the blurry horizon.
If you have geographic atrophy, or GA, subtle changes in vision could mean it's progressing toward irreversible vision loss. Izervay is proven to slow GA progression and could help preserve your vision for longer, so you may keep seeing the world around you. Izervay, or avacincaptad pegol, is an eye injection. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may cause blood in the white of the eye, blurred vision, or a temporary increase in eye pressure. Do not drive or use machinery until vision has recovered after an eye injection or exam. Ask your retina specialist how you can slow your GA with Izervay. To learn more, call 1-855-IZERVAY or go to izervay.com. Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
Hurt in a car, call William Attar. 315-444-4444.
Is your business the best at what you do? Then you should be a Central New York's industry ace. Our industry aces are made up of the best businesses in the region, and will help you tell your story to thousands of consumers in the Mohawk Valley. With a combination of on-air and online testimonial commercials, along with targeted social media ads that are guaranteed to reach the consumers you want to be talking to. And best of all, these messages are coming directly from you. Interested in learning more? Contact Megan Powers at 315-768-9500.
We think every kid should get started on the right foot or right feet. This is Bill Keeler, WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM is partnering with Excellence Blue Cross Blue Shield to help local kids in need get new kicks for a new school year. We call it Kicks for Kids. Go to WIBX950.com or the WIBX 950 app. Click on Kicks for Kids, and the Neighborhood Center will get the shoes to the kids. It's easy to give. Kicks for Kids from Excellence Blue Cross Blue Shield and WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Keeler in the morning, Keeler in the morning.
We were young, we were wild. It was fun on the run for a while. But you grew up, girl, and I should've. I wouldn't be kicking myself if I would've gotten out of the bars, out of the scene. gave you my heart and everything in between.
All right, welcome back to
just
First
like you
News with
deserve.
Keeler in the morning. That was a little bit of the opening act that's going to be playing at the grandstand. John Morgan, I Was Just a Kid Myself, his new tune.
So there you go. Smitty did some work as a DJ on the air back in the day.
I sure did.
You hear that shining through now. So I got to, because I've been texting about this all morning, okay? We got a call, and I appreciate so much that they called from the New Hartford Central School District. We got a call. It wasn't an official call. It was just a person who works in the district who said, by the way, I'm in the office at the school district this morning. I heard you guys on the air. You're talking about New Hartford schools go back on August 26th. You're wrong. It's actually September 3rd. And I said, well, how did this happen? Because I heard from a parent of a student in the district who was a little frustrated in saying, look, I have a vacation planned at the end of August, right before the kids go back to school. And I didn't realize that school was going back so early. So it was going to be August 26th. So we talked about that on the program a bit yesterday. And then we mentioned it here this morning.
Yep.
I'm checking here.
All right.
There is a key. All right. So it appears like, I guess, that the 26th is going to be no school students, teacher PD. I'm on the New Hartford, on their website. If you go to the main website page, it clearly says September 3rd. But what you have here is on their map. It's an Adobe file that you open up, and there is a star that says first and last day of school. So if there's a star on the calendar, it's either the first day or the last day. And it says 8/26, first day.
All right.
So there's a Board of Education meeting. I guess I'm only saying this to understand what the confusion is. 8/18, they have a school Board of Education meeting. It looks like August 24th is purple. It says no school students, teacher PD, which I don't know what PD means. And then same thing for 8/25. No school for students, teacher PD. Then there's a gray one, standard school day.
Wow.
It says standard school day, 8/26. So my point is this. Obviously, the person who called September 3rd sounds more appropriate. I'm sure the person who let us know is correct, but somebody's got to update the information on that calendar. This is New Hartford Public Schools, 2627. Chrome extension, I don't know. This is, the district calendar.
All right. So.
Oh, you know what?
Whoops.
I think I understand what the problem is. Yep. I understand what the problem is. Go with the website here. September 3rd, all day, first day of school. I see what the problem is. Somebody sent me the link on where the problem was coming, and I see what the issue is. That's not correct information. All right.
So,
we were talking with Carl Trainer about the Boonville Oneida County Fair. What else do we need to highlight here?
all right. So I guess I'd like to move the conversation to Commissioner Richard Ball. The New York State Commissioner Richard Ball is on the line. And he is a true friend of the farmers, not only a true friend of the farmers. Richard Ball and his wife Shirley and my wife Renee, Robin, and I go back many, many years on the State Farm Bureau Board. And I want to say good morning, Richard. Or I should say on the radio, good morning, Commissioner.
That's proper, Ben. Yeah, good morning, Farmer Ben and everybody. Thank you for taking the time for us this morning.
Oh, we thank you, Richard. Excuse me, Commissioner. Good morning, Commissioner. So thank you, Commissioner, on that. So if you could, July is, we just came off of June is Dairy Month, and now we're in July is Ice Cream Month. And I also would like to touch base on what your thoughts were on Chuck Schumer's trying to propose lowering the price of beef to the consumer.
Sure. Well, let me take the easy one first. I think that the ice cream doesn't have to be just for breakfast anymore. We can have it any time throughout the day this month. So this is obviously June and July are great dairy months, and good time to celebrate our biggest industry in agriculture in New York State, and always fun to do that. I plan on having a little ice cream today, so looking forward to that one.
Before you go any further, Commissioner, I've been officially asked, do you have any plans to be able to attend the Boonville Oneida County Fair this year?
You know, I'm totally open to that at any time. As you know, I try to get there every year if I can. And I'm on my way. I'm in my pickup now heading towards Albany. And I'll take a look at the calendar and look at the dates because I don't have them in my head. But why don't you give them to me?
All right, so Thursday the 30th is our special treat, that chicken barbecue that we have. And we would love you to attend that and be the guest speaker for that and come and tour the Boonville Oneida County Fair on Thursday, July the 30th.
Okay, thank you. I was up to Lewis County yesterday, actually, at the Lewis County Fair. And I was up at Camp Oswegatchie yesterday. And then later in Canandaigua that day. So I made a big circle around the state yesterday and went by your neighborhood at a reasonable rate of speed yesterday, thinking about your fair. But
thank you.
Yeah, let me see if we can get that on the calendar, Ben.
All right, so go ahead. What's your thoughts on what do you think we can do to help out this beef situation without hurting the farmer, and your opinion on Chuck Schumer's press conference yesterday?
Yeah. Well, I think we have to take things in stride when it comes to beef. We're in an unprecedented time frame right now when it comes to all things beef, as you well know. You were a dairy farmer yourself, but it was just a couple of years ago when I'd get a call from a dairy farmer who'd tell me he dropped off a bull calf at an auction, and they sent him a bill for handling the animal. And now they're getting anywhere from $1,200, $1,500, $2,000 for a young calf, and it's just it's hard to get my head around what is happening with the supply and demand in the beef world. I do think that that's really helping a lot of our dairy farmers deal with their prices and the increases in costs that they're having right now to see some calves being born that may not be black and white, but may be all black. So the details of what's going on in Washington, the talk about allowing beef from South America and Brazil, etc. I'm not sure what effect and if it's going to be successful. I just have to wait and see, as all of us do. So I don't really have any firsthand information about that, but I do know that it's going to take us a while, as you know, to build the herd back up to the level where supply is meeting demand, because we're at a deficit right now. And I think as long as that's the case, we're going to be challenged with the supply and the price.
Yeah. And so give us an overview, Commissioner, on agriculture in New York. Seeing that you're traveling around all the fairs, you're getting to talk to all the farmers, of course. So give us an update of what you're finding out on the fair circuit.
Yeah. Well, I think it's fair to say, Ben, that I get to Washington fairly often. I think it's fair to say that things are still pretty foggy down there as far as initiatives, as far as the staffing at USDA and FDA. It's still a little bit unpredictable down there, but I was flying home the last time I was there, and it felt really good to come back to New York State, where we were certain that we're not going to change our policies with agriculture. We're not going to change our programs with regards to dairy. We're not going to change our plans to expand the processing capacity in the state. It felt very good to come home, where it's, I know the landscape. I know the policies and programs we have in place, which are pretty good. So in New York State, having said that, we have an excellent budget for agriculture. The executive budget from the governor came down, was very good for us. The legislature pretty much agreed with the governor on most every point. And so the enacted budget that we have right now, although it took a while, is a very good one. It's a strong one and very positive for what we're going to do. The dairy modernization grants will be released again. This is the third round of that. We're going to continue to work on workforce and young people in ag. You're going to see some positive things about that. The tariff relief program is underway. The governor proposed $30 million to go in direct payments to farmers, qualified farms, to help offset the impact of tariffs on their operations every day. We've got about 1,000 applications that have come into the department so far on that. That's going to be a good program. That's going to be real meaningful for all our farmers at what scale they're at. So I like where we're at. I will say we had a cabinet meeting last week, met with the other agency heads, commissioners at DEC, at NYSERDA, our energy team, and obviously we work very closely together, and it was a great meeting, and I feel like we've never had a better relationship in between agencies. So I kind of like where we are. The governor's, I talked to her just the other day about agriculture, and she's so supportive. She's probably been to as many farms as I've been to, and every time we get together, we talk about agriculture. So I think in New York State, we're in a very good place, Ben.
Yeah, I'd like to emphasize on that for a moment, Richard. Commissioner. Most people, I want to get right to it. Most people out on the street talk negatively about New York State, the governor, and just business in general of New York State. But as a farmer, and you as the Commissioner of Agriculture, people don't realize that, like this budget we just went through with the state budget, the governor, with the help of your office, Commissioner, and you, Commissioner, and the help of Farm Bureau, the governor funded every little thing that the farmers asked for in New York State budget. And when it came time to sit down with the leaders of the budget and everything, there was no negotiations with agriculture. It was set in stone. And so you can say what you want about New York's politics, and you can say what you want about the governor and other subject matters. But when it comes to agriculture, the team that's in place between the governor's office, the Farm Bureau, the Commissioner of Agriculture, Richard Ball, we are in the best place that you could ever dream of as being in agriculture in New York State. And I'd like you to add to that, or your opinion of what I just said.
Well, thank you for that comment, Ben. You and I remember years ago when we were on the New York Farm Bureau Board of Directors, and our policy people would come in and put up the numbers for the budget and the funding programs for Cornell and for apple industry and for dairy and for, all the maple, everybody. We'd look at the whole thing, and we were looking at, $9, $10, $12 million for the ag, side of the world. And now we're looking at, close to $70 million in the aid to localities budget. The programs that we need to invest in, we're investing in. Mm-hmm. We looked at trying to expand the capacity post-COVID. We learned some lessons in COVID about not just having a food shed in New York State, but having the capacity to take our raw ingredients and turn them into something that was meaningful for families. The investment in particular in the dairy industry and the research for dairy at Cornell is off the charts. I mean, we landed Fairlife, Great Lakes Cheese, Cayuga Milk Ingredients expansion, Chobani wants to grow, Agrimark wants to grow, Oneida's looking at some significant expansions up in your neighborhood. Mm-hmm. And I've got 5 more on my desk right now of interest from around the world in the dairy industry in particular, looking at expanding. So we've made such an investment in that I think these are legacy plants. They're going to keep our ag industry alive for, 50 or 100 years in a significant way. So I appreciate what you're saying, but we're talking about feeding our people in New York. That lesson that we learned in the pandemic, that we better be available, we better be resilient, we better be responsive, and we better not have to depend on another part of the world for our food right here. I think it's a lesson we took to heart.
The other thing, too, Richard, Commissioner, the other thing, Commissioner, is the amount of investments and the support that we're getting from the New York State Ag and Markets and the governor's office to all the county fairs. Would you, because people don't realize, even the Commissioner of Ag and Ag and Markets in the state support the county fairs. Go ahead.
Oh, big time. One of the first conversations the governor and I had was about fairs, believe it or not. We were at the Erie County Fair together a couple of days before she was sworn into office. And we talked about, it's not about who's got the biggest fair. It's not about just padding numbers, trying to get more people through the state fair. It was about how can we utilize our county fair system and the state fair together to touch more young people, more career ideas, more opportunities for them to reach out and touch agriculture. And so that's been a commitment that we've made at the department. We've got funding for county fairs to help get, people from inner city areas, young people to the fairs. I was with a group of young kids that are coming to the fair for the first time from the inner city, just having the time of their life. We never know what that trigger is going to be. When you touch a young person's life, they see a big tractor, they see a cow, they see a goat, they see something in agriculture that may trigger a touch point that later on in life they'll say, you know what, I think a career in the food system, whether it's in agriculture or research or blockchain technology or culinary arts or genetics or whatever it's going to be, is going to help us grow our food system. The fairs are so important in that regard, and so we've continued to make good investments there.
I want to let you know, Commissioner, that Oneida County Fair has taken a big advantage of that program. We have all kinds of children coming to the fair from Rome, Utica, and Sherrill through that inner city youth opportunity program. So I again want to thank you for carrying that message to the governor and getting that funded, because Oneida County is actually taking advantage of that program.
It's wonderful to see. I actually saw it happen at the fair up there. Watch those kids come in from downtown and just open their eyes so wide. But for me, and I know for the governor, it's really a commitment to workforce development, in the long run, because we got to plant some seeds in that next generation of workforce. Because we need more workers on our farms, we need more workers on our dairy plants, our food modernization plants, and I'm excited that we're doing that.
Yeah, no. So, Commissioner, I want to thank you. How are we doing for time, guys?
Unfortunately, we are just about out.
So, Commissioner, I'd love to see you next Thursday, the 30th of July, at the Boonville-Oneida County Fair. We're having our chicken barbecue for all our legislated officials, and we'd love to have you come and tour the Boonville-Oneida County Fair.
I think I could find my way around there, Ben. I've been there so many times, but thank you all. I really appreciate the questions and the opportunity to spend some time with you this morning. Thanks very much, everyone.
Have a great day. That is the State Ag Commissioner, Richard Ball, joining us here on First News with Keeler in the morning, and thank you for setting that up, Ben. It was great to hear from him.
Yeah. Now, just to let people know, guys, your listeners, Commissioner Ball is not a suit and tie guy. He really isn't. He's a true farmer. He grows vegetables. He over there in Schoharie County. And so when he's not in the office or out traveling representing agriculture of New York State, he is actually on the farm. So if anybody thinks he's just another suit and tie, then you do not know your Commissioner of Ag. He is a true friend to all farmers in New York State. Commissioner Ag, Commissioner Ball, thank you very much for calling in.
And I appreciate, I'm glad what you said about the state funding certain things that the farmers requested, and the support of the county farm, the county
Farm Bureau and the farmers. Kathy Hochul, I mean, everybody has an opinion about Kathy Hochul.
I was going to say, if you need some complaints about things, I have a long list here. I don't know if 22 minutes is enough to get through it, but I am glad to hear that she's supportive of the agriculture community.
Totally supportive of anything to do with agriculture. And then when it comes time to negotiate the budget, I'm telling you, agriculture is off the table. She does not negotiate. It's set in stone. And Commissioner Ball is probably, I'm going to say, in my time frame, not that I just know him personally, but he is probably the best commissioner that New York State has ever had. And I do believe, I'm going to step on the limb here, I do believe he is the longest-serving commissioner of agriculture in New York State, and the reason for that is because the farmers want a true farmer in Albany. He's not just a suit and tie. He is actually a farmer.
It is 8:39. We'll take a quick time out. Coming up, we'll talk about some upcoming events at the Utica Zoo. Checking in with Andrea Heath. That's next on
And we still got Carl.
And Carl is in.
Did you know your most treasured rugs can look new again? At ABC Chem Dry, we specialize in premium area rug cleaning. From treasured family heirlooms to fine rugs from around the world, our trained specialists use a careful 5-step process inspecting, dusting, cleaning, drying, grooming, and protecting, so your rug always gets the expert care it deserves. Don't wait. Call ABC Chem Dry today at 315-738-1111 to schedule a drop-off or pickup.
Something old is new in the village of New Hartford. Introducing Handshake Antiques, now open at 66 Genesee Street, next to Giorgio's Village Cafe. Not your grandma's antique shop. Think clean, curated, and cool. From high-end furniture, vintage fashion, vinyl records, to oddities and all things eclectic. And we're always buying, so look in your attic or basement. And if it's old, call Handshake Antiques. Plus, inventory changes weekly, so every visit is a new find. Handshake Antiques, where it never went out of style.
Hello, Utica. This is Carrie Paleo from the Greater Utica Chamber of Commerce. We're thrilled to introduce some of the newest members of our business network. Let's give them a true Utica welcome and show what it means to be part of this incredible community.
Daylight Donuts at 22 Genesee Street, New Hartford. Franco's of Westmoreland at 7295 West Main Street, Westmoreland. Visit NAMNU AICFO at namnu.net.
By supporting the local economy, we'll keep building the future of Utica together. Greater Utica Chamber, empowering upstate New York.
A small business affirmation from Progressive. Food truck owners, today business will be booming. People will love your new menu and not make special orders. You will not roll your eyes when someone calls it a quesadilla. You will also switch to Progressive to get 30 customizable coverage options and restore your inner peace. See if you can save in as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverage is not available in all states or for all vehicles and covered selections.
Cloudy, breezy, and cooler today with an occasional shower. The high should eventually hit 71 as winds gust in from the west at times. Then some breaks in the clouds tonight with a low of 51. A little bit of fog early tomorrow, otherwise sunny with a high of 77. And a sunny and warmer afternoon on Friday as the high reaches the low 80s. I'm Jeff Marr at the Weather Channel on WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
All right, it is First News Keeler in the morning. First News Keeler on vacation. Joining us now in studio. Before I forget, I want to congratulate, because they had an outstanding year again, New Hartford Little League, the 10 to 12-year-olds, the all-star team. We talked yesterday briefly that there was a big game going on at New Hartford Little League last night. So New Hartford did defeat the District 12 champions, Scotia Glenville, a 5-0 final. And for the fourth time in the last decade, New Hartford's All-Star Little League team is going to the New York State tournament. There's only 8 teams left in New York State in the 10 to 12-year-old division of Little League baseball. So we want to congratulate New Hartford. I had a chance and had the pleasure of officiating several of their games this year. They are great young men, or soon-to-be young men, great kids. They play baseball very well, very committed to it, and I'm very happy to see that they're moving on to the next level. Congratulations and good luck. Joining us now in studio is Andrea Heath from the Utica Zoo. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
You got a lot going on at the zoo there. As a matter of fact, you're in the middle of the kids' summer camps, right?
Yes, and they've
among with a bunch of other things.
Oh, yeah. They've been great this year. And, yeah, as I was mentioning before we went on air, there's so much going on. I had to pull up our website because I want to make sure we hit some of these things that are in the next couple of weeks, really.
Sure. So I'll let you take it away. What are some of the things that you need to highlight to get folks in the zoo and some attractions they can come see?
Well, let's talk about our wild summer nights first, because they're every single Thursday night, although sadly we had to postpone last Thursday due to air quality with Tom and Ashley Nitty, and we were really disappointed. But we'll reschedule them. They said so. But tomorrow night, Thursday, we have Isaac French, who's just wonderful. The zoo stays open until 8 o'clock every Thursday through the end of August. And it's the whole zoo open, family-friendly, but there are some great adult drinks at Polly's, our concession stand food, and then live music. And then also tomorrow night, we actually are showing Finding Nemo at dusk. So on
That's
the lawn, you can come see the movie. We have Princess Ariel there, who will be, entertaining the kids tomorrow night. And we're doing that because we have our coral reef habitat, our new 2,000-gallon beautiful live saltwater coral, both soft and hard, and all the fish that go with it, including an eel named Bowser. So tomorrow night, Isaac French, Princess Ariel, and the movie Finding Nemo. So come to all of that. This week has been Fin Week, Fin Fest, because we're celebrating our coral and oceans. So Saturday, we actually have Moana for a Fin Fest day. So please come to that on Saturday. On August 1st, we're actually having Bluey, a Bluey Day, Bluey's Zoo Adventures. I've never seen our social media take off the way that it has. So this summer is all about the kids and the families. And then again on Thursday nights, live music and adult drinks if wanted. But Bluey's Fun Fest is going to be so much fun. And that's just included with admission. Like, there's not an extra fee to do the
Yeah,
Bluey
that's very
things.
cool.
And then I do have to mention Free Night on Monday, this coming Monday, and the last Monday in August. It's huge.
What'd you say it was?
Free night.
Free.
Everybody gets in free from 4 to
Oh,
8.
wow.
And we have shuttles. And we want families to really enjoy the zoo, and we don't want there to be the barrier of no admission, responsibility to pay for that night. So free night is this coming Monday, and then again the last Monday in August. The weekend of August 22nd and 23rd, the whole weekend, we are doing, for the first time, grossology. So it's going to be all about poop and other animal things that are a little gross.
Oh, boy.
We're working on a micro dirty jobs type thing with a local community leader. And it's just going to be a lot of fun. Kids want to learn all about animals, and we're going to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, and the smelly, and we're just going to have a lot of fun with
You
it.
could get a farmer to come in, a livestock farmer, and talk about that poop, because we deal with a lot of it.
And Farmer Ben, I got to tell you, this fall we're looking at doing an old-fashioned homespun day with all kinds of things like making butter, making ice cream, talking about farming. So I'm going to be contacting you about that too, because we want you to be part of that.
Looking forward to it. Andrea, would you take a moment, because I picked on you off the air a little bit. We all know the Utica Zoo is about zoo animals and everything, but you actually have cows at the zoo. So if you'd elaborate to that.
I'm so happy to elaborate, because one of the areas of the zoo, our children's zoo, we've kind of called it backyards and barnyards, because it's about animals in our own backyards and barnyards, but also around the world, barnyards and backyards. And so we have two kinds of cattle. We have zebu, which are from India, and they're sacred. And they're very cool. They have a big hump in their back that's kind of like a camel's. So they're very unique and exotic. We won't see them in our own backyards.
Nope.
And we also have a Scottish Highland cow. His
Yeah.
name is Hamish. And
Hamish.
he's, that fringy bangs with the... He doesn't yet have that large rack of is it a...
Horns.
That's
but
what I
they
thought.
will.
He doesn't yet have it, because when he came to us, he was actually about 6 months old. So I think he's not quite 2 yet. So he's still, he is a miniature. So he'll stay kind of small, but he'll get a larger.
Oh,
larger
he'll have
horn.
horns on him,
Yeah.
3-4 feet wide.
Yeah, and they're both in a part of the zoo that, if they come up to the fence area, you can maybe even kind of nuzzle their little, foreheads
Pat
a
'em.
little bit. So yeah, we have all kinds of animals at the zoo, and I love when I run into somebody. It's one of my favorite parts. Who has, maybe they haven't been to the zoo in a long time, came home for Boilermaker weekend and came to our Christmas in July event that Saturday or something, and just couldn't believe the growth and the changes of the zoo over the years.
I used to deliver hay to you guys when Beth Irons was the manager.
Yeah.
And the zoo was kind of small then. Well, since then, my grandson has ventured up to your zoo a few times, and my wife comes back and my daughter-in-law tell me how much you've grown.
The coral reef is amazing. Again, it's a new venture for us. And then also we have a baby. We have a baby white-handed gibbon. He's about 6 months old now. R2 is his name. He joins his 3-year-old brother, Dooku, mom and dad, Snowflake and Yoda. And they are the most amazing for family of 4 to watch. You can just stand there and just watch and watch. And that's why getting a membership is great, because you can just come back to the zoo so frequently, and it's all part of a very, very reasonable rate for a whole year.
And for a small community like Utica or Oneida County to have the quality of the zoo, people just don't realize it.
We are accredited with the Association of Zoos and Aquariums, and here's where I'm going to make the plug. Please contribute to us, because we are a not-for-profit. We have a lot of real estate where you can have your company or your family's name on a sign at an exhibit, or you can have your name attached to all of these amazing family events that I've been talking about, because we are a not-for-profit, so we have to raise money. And if the zoo, it can't just close down or regroup for a few months and try to minimize the expenses.
That's
if it goes
why
away,
COVID was so difficult.
COVID was difficult. We're still bouncing back from some of those things, and we're still bouncing back from the huge investment we made into the zoo in 2024 when we really did a lot of repairs and deferred maintenance, addressed that so that we could have our accreditation. So we're looking good.
And I just want to make a mention quick that I know it's short term here, but sometime I'd like to personally extend my invitation on behalf of the Boonville and Oneida County Fair and Carl that's here to have you come to the Boonville and Oneida County Fair sometime. I know it's short, but
we'd love to. Yeah.
We'll reach out.
So one more time, Wild Summer Nights continue tomorrow. I do have a question here from Mark. He said the Brewfest was gone, loved the event, but Wild Summer Nights, to some degree, a smaller degree, maybe replaces that, or some adult beverages,
not
live
meant
music.
to replace it, because
I don't mean replace it, but you can still get that.
Oh, yeah.
Have a beer, listen to music.
You can actually, live music.
Yeah.
And look at our lineup on our website, please, because we have just all the great music. We have the kinds of music acts that you see playing out often, again, every single Thursday night, including the return of Remsen, Remsen Social Club, which they haven't been to the zoo in a while, and we just love them. Not meant to replace Brewfest. In fact, we're going to be doing another something between now and next year to bring, a larger scale of adult event back in again. And we, of course, have Wine in the Wilderness.
That was Mark's question, is Wine in the Wilderness Day.
Yeah, it'll still be happening. And I would venture to say that we're going to make that larger. And for the guys that come to Wine in the Wilderness, because the women in their life really like the Wine in the Wilderness and they're looking for some beer and some other adult distilleries, we'll have those at Wine in the Wilderness next year.
Awesome. Great job. Appreciate you stopping in.
Thank you.
Keep us updated on what's going on at the Utica Zoo.
We appreciate the airtime. Thank you.
Andrea Heath, we'll take a quick time out and come back with more on WIBX.
Man, I love this place. I've been surfing here since I was a kid. Now, seeing my grandson out on the water, it means everything to me. Watching him and taking in the blue waves, the sea breeze, the blurry horizon?
If you have geographic atrophy, or GA, subtle changes in vision could mean it's progressing toward irreversible vision loss. Izervay is proven to slow GA progression and could help preserve your vision for longer, so you may keep seeing the world around you. Izervay, or avacincaptad pegol, is an eye injection. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may cause blood in the white of the eye, blurred vision, or a temporary increase in eye pressure. Do not drive or use machinery until vision has recovered after an eye injection or exam. Ask your retina specialist how you can slow your GA with Izervay. To learn more, call 1-855-IZERVAY or go to izervay.com. Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
This is Dan from Acme Pool and Spa on Commercial Drive in New Hartford, across from Texas Roadhouse. Get years of summer fun for you and your family with a new above-ground pool starting at just $89.99 installed. You can take advantage of our 0% in-house financing. We can have your new pool installed in about 10 days. Don't let the summer pass you by. If an in-ground pool is your dream, the experts at Acme will guide you through the process. There's nothing better than enjoying summer in your backyard with an in-ground pool. Don't miss out on our midsummer sale with above-ground pools starting at $89.99 installed within about 10 days with our in-house 0% financing. Or let the experts at Acme guide you through selecting a custom in-ground pool, choosing from steel or fiberglass options. That's Acme Pool and Spa on Commercial Drive in New Hartford, and our midsummer pool sale going on now. We do the work, you just enjoy.
Hurt in a car, call William Matar. 315-444-4444.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
All right, we are back. First News Keeler in the morning on WIBX. Farmer Ben sitting in, and also Carl Trainer. Is that your official title, the historian of the Boonville, Oneida County Fair?
That's what people call me, yeah.
I'm just teasing you. A lot of fun things going on at the Boonville, Oneida County Fair. Some favorites like the tractor pull. Of course, they'll have live music. And John Morgan is the featured act this year. That'll be Saturday night, August 1st. The Demolition Derby, a lot of the great stuff that typically goes on, with the addition, to Smitty's delight, some professional wrestling is going on up there as well. And guys, I'll in the last couple minutes here, I'll leave it to you to highlight some of the things that you think people need to know about for the upcoming fair.
I'm going to let Carl end the show with talking about the Boonville Fair, but I just want to make mention. I'm in charge of the Best of Oneida County auction. It's basically a pie auction. And all the proceeds are to benefit the 6 FFA, Future Farmers of America chapters in Oneida County. So if you have anything you'd like to donate, a dish of cookies, pies, we've had furniture, old radios, clothes, anything that of substance that has a little value that can be auctioned off. And the auction is at Thursday, the 30th at 4 o'clock, and we would love for anyone to come and participate and be to buy at the auction to support the local FFA chapters. Okay, Carl, I'm going to turn it over to you to finish out the show, top off the Boonville Oneida County Fair.
Well, thank you. The fair, part of what makes it so special, it's an outdoor summertime event. There's food of all kinds. People see their relatives, they see their friends. For some, it's a big reunion that they see friends and relatives just once a year at the fair. They meet at the fair. It's a great outdoor gathering. It's steeped in tradition. And on Tuesday is a special evening at the fair because it's our opening firemen's parade, which attracts fire departments from oftentimes from 3 counties. Oneida County, all over Oneida County, Lewis County, and some from Herkimer County. So they're always very welcome to come. Our fire departments are a vital part of our community every day of the year, 24 hours a day, 365 days of the year. And then every day we have several racing pig shows. I mean, part of the attraction of the fair and what's made fairs so successful over the years is always where can you go and see pigs race, see your bacon run around the track. And also we have a petting zoo that's open daily at the fair. The best way to find out about the fair is to go to our website at www.boonvillefair.com and see what's on every day. And it's just a short drive up Route 12 from Utica to Boonville.
Right straight up 12.
Right straight up 12. And the same with 46 from Rome. We're in the central part of the North Country and easy to get to. And then the truck show, it's one of my favorite nights at the fair, is the truck show and the tractor pull. Part of what makes fairs so successful is to have a bit of noise and smoke. If you have noise and smoke, people will come.
And they break them.
And they do. And it's interesting. It's great to watch a pickup truck that's been modified and see the blue flame come out of the exhaust over the roof of the truck. So those are always great nights at the fair.
And then Wednesday night, too, Carl, we want to mention, is going to be the fireworks.
Oh, yes.
So after the wrestling, so 2 o'clock in the afternoon on Wednesday is going to be the lightweight horse pull. 4 o'clock will be the heavyweight horse pull. And then at 7:30, we're going to clear the track out, open up the grandstand for a minimal fee, and you can come in and watch the East Coast Pro Wrestlers. And then after the wrestling is all done, Carl, they're going to set off all the fireworks, I believe, across the street, right?
Across the street. Great place to be is in the grandstand to see the fireworks.
Right. Yeah.
Guys, quickly, I'll mention, because we are just about out of time, July 28th through August 2nd. That is next Tuesday. things kick off. It'll run through Sunday, the 138th annual Boonville Oneida County Fair. Admission is what, like $3? $3 a ticket?
No, I believe admission is $5
Oh,
for
$5,
adults,
sorry.
but for children 12 and under, it's free every day and every night if you're 12 and under.
And we have Feed the Vet Day. So if you
Right.
come in on, Wednesday?
Wednesday. Right.
You bring a canned good and you throw it in the box. As you're coming across the bridge, you get in basically for free for a canned good. And then on Tuesday, if you come to the fair with a receipt for $10, anything in Oneida County, you're in.
Guys, we are out of time. The wristbands also for the rides, did I see? I don't want to give the wrong price. Do you have I think it was
You know what to do is go to the website.
Go to the website.
Yeah, check
Go
it
to
out.
the website.
And there's
WIBX Utica Road, W295 From the WB Tain Insurance Studios, your news talk leader since 1925. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now the latest from Fox News.
The U.S. would prefer to negotiate with Iran. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. But Secretary of State Marco Rubio also said this morning,
commercial ships are going through the straits and they're being blown up. The United States is defending that shipping and in addition is targeting the places that are launching against those ships.
after an 11th straight night of American bombing, and President Trump just posted on Truth Social a few minutes ago, anytime Iran shoots at a ship in the Strait of Hormuz, the U.S. will bomb and destroy one bridge or power plant. Fox's Trey Yingst in Tel Aviv.
The Department of War has released the name of the fourth U.S. soldier that was killed over the weekend during that ballistic missile attack against Jordan. It's Sergeant Angel Romperstad of Ozone Park, New York. Now, President Trump will attend the dignified transfer of all four service